Items not on the agenda today yet. Lupa said they did. Lupa,
Trustee Bona,
do we have an audio problem or, remember the non-agenda items at the end today?
the agenda was posted that the non-agenda items are right after the public comment agenda. We only have 4 speakers. 3 speakers.
Okay, all right. Well,
Yeah, the agenda was posted that way.
okay.
Are we starting the meeting yet?
Yes, we are, Trustee Vela. We're just letting everyone in the room. Lupe, can you let me know when it's ready?
Oh, can we not do that yet?
It's too late. We started the recording.
Oh,
Trustee Vela, did you need something?
no, I'm okay, thank you.
Okay. Lupe, roll call.
Trustee Buelna,
Recording in
Trustee
progress.
Henderson,
Here.
Trustee Hoffman,
Here.
Trustee Eno,
Here.
Trustee Moreno,
Here.
Trustee Vela,
Here.
Trustee Vettis.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Chancellor Nish, could you lead us in the flag salute today?
Ready to begin?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trustees, I will make a few comments, and forgive me for my glasses are a little fogged here today. Today, we would like to adjourn in the meeting in memory of Mr. Larry Williams. Larry was a student who attended Los Angeles Southwest College in 2002, 2005, and 2018, and joined Harbor College this spring to finish up his community college journey. He was just 18 units away from finishing his Cal State GE courses and was planning to transfer to Cal State Dominguez Hills as a human services major in fall 2023. Larry's close friend, Tristina Wright, remembers him as a kind, funny, and gentle spirit who was also an innovative photographer and world traveler. He is remembered for his great work ethic, and he worked for the Center of Autism and Related Services. As a behavioral specialist, where he would oversee and develop treatment programs for children with autism. On behalf of the entire LACCD community, we are saddened to hear of his untimely passing and send the deepest condolences to his mother, Shirley Fountain, and Larry Williams' family and friends. Our condolences as an entire family. Approval of the order of agenda. There is one, we are going to wait for the oath of office for the student trustee. Just as a courtesy, we're just waiting on some family members, and that's very important to all of us. So when they arrive, we will do the oath of office, okay? So I just wanna make sure that everyone knows why that's a little off with regard to the agenda. Before we move to approve the agenda, order of business, Chancellor, are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, good afternoon, Dr. Buelna, members of the board and community. There is an agenda that I'd like change that I'd like to bring to your attention. We do have one withdrawal. It's item Y17. This is the item regarding the joint occupancy ground lease for 10100 Jefferson Boulevard. We do expect that item to return on the July 6th agenda. So please remove item Y17 from your consideration today. That's the only change, sir.
Thank you, Chancellor. May I have a motion to approve the agenda in order of business with the requested amendments and comments?
I have,
Trustee Vela, did you have a comment?
I am just confused on the agenda on, I guess the last piece, we're coming back out of closed session, and then we have, I guess it's section HH, consent calendar regarding closed session matters. Can someone explain what that means?
1 second. Mr. Jetter? Oh,
Thank you, trustees. This is the first time we're doing this since COVID, but we do have some student discipline on the agenda that gets debated and heard in closed session and needs to be voted on in public session following the closed session.
Okay.
is that, did you need further explanation, Trustee Vella?
Yes, but I also see there's suspension of classified and permanent employee, item 3 and 4. Is that the same thing, or what are we doing?
No, separate item.
Okay. Is there any way we can pull those items and then talk about them some other time, please? Because I wasn't prepared for this, and I'm sorry to staff if I didn't. It just seemed kind of odd to me, and I thought this was something that we were going to discuss in closed session and not report out.
If I may, as an immediate. The matters are typically heard in closed session. However, the vote is taken as an open session matter, which is why the items are agendized. However, we will acquiesce to whatever the will of the board is, but we had been prepared to present these action items tonight.
I appreciate that, Vice Chancellor. The issue is that I might not make it all the way through closed session because of a work commitment. I will enter into closed session, but I might not make it all the way through, and I wanted to be able to vote on this, so that's the issue.
Okay. Just to be clear, which item would you like removed, and we'll take a quick vote on it?
HH 3 and 4.
Okay. So, General Counsel, do we need a second in terms of removing an item from the agenda?
Yes, motion, second, discussion.
Okay, so there's a motion by I was going to say General Vella, Trustee Vella, to remove HH 3 and 4 from the agenda. Is there a second?
Can I ask a clarification question?
We need a second
Okay.
in order to. So do I have a second?
I'll second. Second.
Trustee Henderson, second. Okay, now we go to discussion on that item. Trustee Eno.
Just for clarification, how does that impact? I guess we'd have to then vote on this. Would these people then be in limbo on what happens?
Just in terms of general counsel, I just want to make sure and have in the discussion of this item, protect anyone's privacy in the answer to some of these questions.
So we use the employee number.
Okay.
Not the name.
Okay. So what effect would this have on the employees?
I'll leave it to the Vice Chancellor, but the item would just have to be brought back at a future meeting.
Okay.
Correct. That would be correct.
Okay. So it's delayed. Trustee Eno, did that answer your question?
I believe so.
Okay. Any other questions on Trustee Vella's motion to remove HH 3 and 4? Okay. And trustees, please speak up. I've got my glasses fogged up on a lot of the stuff. So seeing no hands on anything. All right, Lupe. So on the motion to remove HH 3 and 4?
Trustee
Roll.
Boulna,
Yes.
Trustee Henderson,
Yes.
Trustee Hoffman,
No.
Trustee Eno,
I'm gonna abstain.
Trustee Moreno,
No.
Trustee Vella,
Yes.
Trustee Vettis.
Abstain.
Okay, motion fails. So moving forward with the agenda, may I have a
Trustee
motion?
Boulna, it didn't pass. We have up no, 2 abstains,
No,
Yeah, for-
I'm not, maybe I forgot exactly what I said. The motion did not pass.
Oh,
Just
perfect.
to,
Thank you.
just to clarify,
Thank
maybe I said it wrong. Okay, so we're moving on with the Chancellor's amendments, and we're just going to hold off on the oath of office for the student trustee. Motion to approve the agenda.
So moved, Kelsey.
Okay, trustee Eno, motion.
Second.
Second, trustee Henderson. Any comment? Roll call?
Trustee Boulna,
Yes.
trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Moreno,
Yes.
trustee Vella,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Yes.
We're going to move on to the approval of the minutes. May I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the April 13th, 2022 and May 4th, 2022 meeting? Motion?
So moved, Eno.
Trustee Eno, second.
Second.
Trustee Henderson, second. Roll call?
Trustee Boulna,
Yes.
trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Moreno,
Yes.
trustee Vella,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to reports from the representatives of employee organizations. So I have the pleasure of calling on our representatives and the resource table. Are there any new members of the resource table that would like to begin today? From AFT 1521. Mr. McKeever. Is Mr. McKeever on?
They'll be joining us shortly. 1 second.
Okay. And other members of the resource table, just as soon as Mr. McKeever is done, with this presentation, if everyone could please be prepared. We're bringing him in.
Should I begin?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
First, I just want to take a moment to thank my predecessor, Joanne Waddell. Joanne has served our union district and students for decades. Her influence and leadership has made us a stronger union and a better district. Thank you, President Waddell. It is a privilege to serve as the president of AFT 1521 Faculty Guild, a privilege I don't take lightly. I bear not only a responsibility to our faculty, but to our students and community. All our positions are tied to the outcomes of our students. We all do noble work, whether in the classroom, counseling, library services, childcare centers, custodial services, or administrative support services. We give hope and change lives. We provide hope and opportunity to numerous low-income students throughout LA. We provide job preparedness training to countless students who then can earn a living that can support their families. There is no more noble profession than what we do. This weekend, I will be attending the graduation party of one of my former students, Ricardo Perez. Ricardo is an amazing young man who just completed his master's in sociology and will hopefully be teaching soon at one of our fine community colleges. Richie's parents were hardworking immigrants from Mexico, and Richie is a first-generation college graduate. This wasn't an easy road for Richie, who did test into college-level English, but struggled, like me, with the math portion. Richie worked hard for over 6 years to get his AA degree from Pierce College and is now receiving his master's from CSUN. I'm so proud of Richie. He has had nothing handed to him and has had to fight and work hard for everything he has achieved. Thank you, Richie, for allowing me to participate in your journey. You have a bright future and will be an inspiration to us all. Stories like his are why we do what we do. We did this. We're part of Richie's success story, and we gave an opportunity to excel and achieve his dreams. He just needed a space that saw him, that recognized his brilliance. We gave him that. I don't know if Richie or I could stand before you today in our current situation. Bills like AB 1705 may make stories like Richie's and mine a tale of a bygone era. Don't be fooled by the special interest groups backing these bills. This is not about equality, it is about exclusion. On the Campaign for College Opportunity website, they state, California has a long tradition of making college dreams a reality for prepared students. Well, our students may not all be prepared. Still, they deserve the same opportunity as those prepared and privileged students to get a college education. We must fight back against AB 1705 for our students and our communities. Last, as you consider your vote on the new sheriff's contract, consider this. While the sheriff's budget has continued to grow, we have been cutting classes, a euphemism for layoffs and pay reductions for faculty. Why are the faculty and staff forced to bear the brunt of our educational crisis while the sheriff's budget grows? This is unacceptable. If we ask faculty to tighten their belts, the sheriff must do the same. If you approve this budget, you should expect all the bargaining units to come to you and say, me too. We insist on fairness and equity. Thank you, and I look forward to working with you.
And thank you very much. Next person from the resource table.
Good afternoon, Chancellor Rodriguez, Board President Buena, and Board of Trustees. I am Blanca Barajas, President of the Classified Management Association and CalWorks Director at Los Angeles Southwest College. First of all, I want to share that the LACCD CMA stands in solidarity and in support of the families impacted by the tragic and senseless deaths in Buffalo, New York, and in Uvalde, Texas. These heart-rending deaths impact many far beyond Buffalo and Uvalde. As a district that serves thousands of parenting students and their children, it behooves us to provide our students the support and resources they need to manage these recent tragedies. 2 days after the Uvalde shootings, I had a conversation with one of the LASC CalWorks students who shared with me not only the anxiety and fear she was experiencing after the shootings, but the angst and terror her 9-year-old son was experiencing as well, to the point he didn't want to return to school. She told me that her job as a mom was to empower her son to protect himself. And that's when she took out her phone and showed me a picture of a bulletproof backpack that she was going to purchase for him to protect himself in the event he's confronted with an active shooter situation at his school. She showed me how the backpack provides levels of ballistic protection as bulletproof vest and body armor. I could not believe what I was seeing and hearing. I found it extremely upsetting that our students should have to spend their already limited resources to do what our schools should be doing, protect our most vulnerable, our children. We can only hope that finally, after these senseless and tragic deaths, our nation has finally heeded the message to pass gun control legislation. Enough is enough. Basta ya. As the 21-22 academic year ends, I didn't want the year to end without acknowledging the hard work and dedication of my fellow classified managers as we try to re-engage our students and our communities back to our beautiful 9 college campuses, and our managers return to work at the ESC, continuing to support us at the colleges through it all. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge and congratulate Dr. Claudia Velasco, who began the academic year as a classified manager, as the wonderful CalWorks director at Pierce College and vice president of the CMA, and now concludes the year with a new position as Dean of Student Services at Pierce College. Dr. Velasco is a product of the LACCD, having earned her AA degree in paralegal studies from West LA College, her bachelor's and master's degrees from California State University at Los Angeles, and her doctorate degree in organizational leadership from Pepperdine College. Dr. Velasco is a shining example of LACCD talent and its recognition, and we are extremely proud of her. We wish to celebrate future promotions like hers of our classified managers in the future. Some may not be aware of this, but some of our classified managers never stop reporting to work at the campuses while the rest of the LACCD workforce work from the comfort of our homes. A special shout out to those A&R registrars who didn't skip a beat and made sure that all mailed-in requests for transcripts were processed and all admissions matters were handled at their colleges. Another special shout out to directors of college facilities and VPs of administration who made sure that although traffic at college campuses were limited this past year, campuses remained operable and serviceable for those students and staff on campus. Some of us classified managers have also been reporting to our college campuses on a daily basis since June 2021, without hesitation, as we recognize that we are the middle managers who, with such dedication and skill, handle the day-to-day of an important college or district function, department, or program, yet sometimes seem to be the last ones to be thanked or lauded. Classified managers, oftentimes the first ones to arrive and the last ones to leave, ensuring that our home away from home is left tidy as if it were an extension of the ones we were driving home to. My fellow classified managers are passionate, student-centered, dedicated, barely take my lunch managers who willfully accept any and all additional assignments our supervisors assign us because they trust we can do the job. And we keep mum that we promised our kid or niece that we'd help them with their school project or take them to swim practice that evening, but now we can't because of the added workload. I am so proud of my CMA colleagues because day in and day out, they go to work and they do their absolute best they can, oftentimes with the limited resources they have. They are miracle workers, innovators, motivators, auditors, accountants, presenters, facilitators, mentors, magicians, skilled, intelligent, good at what they do. And along with others, they are the joints that allow the arms and legs of the LACCD colleges and ESC to flow and move freely. Whether they work at the ESC or at one of the 9, whether they have direct contact with students or not, what they do matters, and it impacts the entire ecosystem that we call the Los Angeles Community College District. What they do impacts the students we serve. What they do impacts all of us, whether they're a financial analyst, registrar, program director, accounting manager, college, public relations manager, senior staff ABAP programmer, VP of admin services, research analyst, director of college facilities, technology project manager, director of the college foundation, vice chancellor of human resources, or chief financial officer. LACCD classified managers matter. And as we end the year, I just want to say thank you for all you do. I'd like to close by thanking all of the college deans, VPs, presidents, vice chancellors, board of trustees, and Chancellor Rodriguez for your continued support of our classified managers. We look forward to working with all of you in the new academic year to further promote professional growth and development, as well as establish mentorship opportunities to strengthen existing and create new pathways of opportunities for our classified managers. We congratulate our LACCD class of 2022. I thank you for your time.
Next representative from the resource table.
Should I go next?
Go ahead, Angela.
Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you, Angela Echeverry from the District Academic Senate. First of all, on behalf of the DAS, I would like to take a moment to congratulate Dr. James McKeever, the new Faculty Guild President for AFT 1521. I look forward to working with Dr. McKeever in the months and years ahead to advocate on behalf of our students and faculty and to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion. Earlier today, we had the honor to recognize 44 newly tenured faculty members from our 9 LACCD colleges in a virtual ceremony. I also want to thank my colleague, Joanne Waddell, for her steady leadership as Faculty Guild President, as well as for her many years of service to the district. It has been a great pleasure to work with Joanne over the last few years, as I had the privilege to learn a lot from her wisdom and experience. I also want to thank Vice Chancellor Ryan Corner for his leadership, vision, enthusiasm, and problem-solving skills. I wish him all the best in his new role as the president of Glendale Community College. We learned a lot during his tenure and will greatly miss working with him and look forward to working with Dr. Nicole Alba Lopez in her new position. As we approach the end of this academic year and what appears to be the end of the pandemic, it's really important for us to reflect on the challenges that lay ahead. Our collective trauma has been compounded by economic hardship, the war in Ukraine, climate crisis, and now mass shootings, another mass shooting in a school setting. On top of all this, we're also dealing with constant legislative intrusion into matters of curriculum and student success, which have caused and will continue to cause many unintended consequences for our students and our colleges. With the unnecessary and harmful restrictions that AB 1705 would impose on our course offerings and STEM, CTE, non-credit, and other programs, nothing less than the mission of our community colleges is at stake. As currently written, AB 1705 will also make it extremely difficult for colleges to address learning loss that occurred as a result of the pandemic. Declines in enrollment, lower success rates for transfer level math and English courses, growing equity gaps, and the disenfranchisement of some of our most vulnerable students are tragic reminders that our mission as educators is in peril. As AB 1705 makes its way through the Assembly and is now in the State Senate, it is imperative that we seek amendments to the current language in order to protect the integrity of our academic programs and the future of our colleges. It is important to ask ourselves whether we are going to continue to serve all students, regardless of their academic background or level of preparation, or whether we only want to serve those students who are transfer ready. That is the question that we need to ask ourselves. And I think we all, in our heart, we know what the answer is. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to working with all of you on behalf of our students and our faculty in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chavete. Next person from the resource table.
Good afternoon, President Buelna, members of the board, and Chancellor Rodriguez. For the record, I'm Mary Jo Pico, acting president for the Teamsters, representing our district deans. Happy Pride Month. I'd like to start off by congratulating the 44 faculty members recommended for tenure across our colleges. It is quite an achievement to complete the tenure review process during COVID. This month, we will be holding our Teamster spring membership meeting for all of our members. We'll be discussing the impact of COVID and implications for our work and how we serve our students. I'd like to thank all of our members for continuing to work and demonstrating flexibility and resilience during this time of uncertainty and transition. I also look forward to further collaboration with the district in reviving the Dean's Academy to provide additional professional development opportunities for our members. And I'd like to close with wishing everyone a happy graduation season as we celebrate our students' achievement through another challenging academic year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next person from the resource table.
Good afternoon, Board of Trustee and Chancellor. My name is Chrisan Ozan, representing STAU Local 99. I want to first off start off with saying congratulations to Mr. Callahan. I know you haven't been sworn in, but I just want to say congratulations in advance. And we look forward to working with you. And I also want to say that it was a pleasure working with Joanne Wandell and Ryan Corner. I wish you both the best. Right now, our country is in deep mourning for the horrific and senseless killing of 21 innocent lives in Uvalde, Texas, as well as all the other mass shootings that took place during the past several weeks. I would like to express my deepest sympathy and condolences for all the grieving victims and families out there. With regard to the recent shooting in Texas, there were several things believed to have gone wrong for this massacre to occur, which is why this incident is now being reviewed and investigated to see if all safety protocols and procedures were properly followed. I bring this up because I want to make sure as a district that we are in compliance with our safety protocols and trainings, and we are prepared in the event something like this was to ever occur at one of our campuses. I believe the district should reinforce that all safety measures and protocols are in place for our students, faculty, and staff. We need to make sure that all cameras are fully operating at each campus, our indoor locking systems are functional and in place at every campus in the event of an active shooter, and our active shooter drills and trainings are implemented yearly. I understand that we're in a pandemic, and because of this pandemic, we've been somewhat relaxed in terms of safety training and drills. Nevertheless, we should always be prepared for the unexpected, such as this. And these are the tools that we need to always implement to keep in place to ensure that our campuses are safe. I would like to bring to the board a concern, which is a need for more staffing and maintenance and operations at our campuses. We are in need of more staffing, such as custodial staff, maintenance assistants, groundkeeper, gardeners. And although I don't represent the tradesmen, I'm here to support them too, because there are some tradesmen positions that have not been replaced or backfilled since the first retirement incentive was offered by the district. There are schools operate with just the bare minimum amount of maintenance staff to maintain these buildings. And although enrollment is low and the schools are doing what they can to save money, we still need the appropriate amount of maintenance staff to maintain these buildings and landscape. And lastly, I want to thank the board for recognizing Juneteenth as a resolution for today's agenda. This is an important day of celebration, remembrance, and honoring of our African Americans who suffered while being enslaved and finally freed. This is a day that would never be forgotten on how African Americans were mistreated and continue to be mistreated in America today. It is an honor that this is a day being recognized as a national holiday. And I want to thank the board for supporting this resolution and everything you've done to support the African American community and bringing awareness about this history to the district. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next representative from the resource table. Okay, seeing none. Are there any, we have received the Chancellor's monthly report, which includes activities of the colleges from the college presidents. Do any of the presidents wish to further comment or highlight anything that not included in the written report and just completely voluntary? Are there any president?
We have President Gallagher and President Gerbins coming in.
Okay, if any presidents, just to save us time, presidents, raise your hand so we can already leave you in. So President Gallagher and President Gribbins, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much, Trustee Buelna, Board President Buelna. First and foremost, I want to say that we're very excited to have been able to announce publicly yesterday that the First Lady of the United States, Dr. Jill Biden, will be our keynote speaker at our graduation. This is such an exciting opportunity for us. Our students and our faculty and our staff are really, really thrilled. And so it's a pleasure and an honor for us to be able to do this. And in addition to that, to be able to swear in Kenneth Callahan as our student trustee, welcome Trustee Callahan to the board as a student trustee for us. He's a great student at LACC. I've known him for a couple of years, very involved young man, and we're very proud to have him on the board as the student trustee. And then a couple of other things we've been doing at the college to increase our recruitment. We had a couple of more City Senior Days events. I told you about this last month. We had about 800 students last month from around the high schools. And we had the other high schools that we hadn't yet had in for City Senior Days just about 2 weeks ago. And we had about 400 high school seniors on campus. And it was really, really a lot of great energy. We also did a movie night on campus. We showed Superman outdoors on our track. We had over 300 students who came to play games, have pizza, and watch Superman on the field. It was really a great time. We had a huge career fair on campus 2 weeks ago, and then we did an online career fair that was as much participation as was on campus, and it was really successful. And finally, we launched our Armenian program, and we had a great event with the Armenian community to celebrate Armenian Independence Day. And we had students from the Armenian school close to us come and dance with us, and they had music and food, and it was a great event for us at the college. And we're one of very, very few community colleges in the country that teach Armenian now. Thank you.
Thank you, President Gallagher. President Gribbins?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to acknowledge a few events, recognize a few events. Of course, we're entering a season that's the culmination of a lot of hard work from faculty, staff, administrators, the board, all the district personnel. So it's really a wonderful time. There was a couple of events with the district that I had the pleasure of participating in. The Lavender graduation, May 17th, absolutely wonderful. AAOY Black graduation celebration at First AME Church on May 24th. Absolutely amazing event, amazing venue for the event. I'm looking forward to the Mi Gente graduation this Sunday. And here at Valley, we had a lot of events similarly. We had the Emoja Black Scholars End of Year Awards on May 16th. Wonderful, wonderful event. Thanks to Dr. Coney and all the folks who worked hard on it. The next day, we had the Guardian Scholars End of Semester celebration for our foster youth. And then the next day after that, Dia de Reconocimiento on May 18th. Another just absolutely wonderful event, Guardian Scholars Hoodie Ceremony celebration on May 27th. And then tomorrow afternoon, another wonderful event. We have a nursing pinning, and on June 6th, the respiratory therapy convocation. Of course, our main event is, for all of us, is on June 7th, that we're all looking forward to in person after 3 years of absence. This, for us, looks to be our largest celebration in history, so we're really looking forward to it. Like President Gallagher mentioned with City College, we also have a lot of enrollment management focused activities that are happening. We had another senior day similar to City College for Grant High School. Most of the focus for our outreach team is on converting all the folks that they had contact with the past 6 months, the 1,000+ students that they helped in high schools complete their FAFSA, all the senior days participants, and all the folks that they've been interacting with, helping to convert them to being enrolled students for the summer and fall semester. So tons of work, lots of phone banking happening. They're really diving into the analytics on phone banking with Fresh Caller, and it's a really productive effort. I think it's helping them refine their efforts. And of course, all of our academic affairs staff, faculty, department chairs are working hard to continue to hone the course offerings to ensure that we're offering the classes that the students need when they need it. Lastly, I want to mention some really important work that we're doing with Elder Tree. All of us are getting to full stride on our marketing campaigns, and we're diving in deep to the analytics. Right now, we're also producing a new series of testimonials. The testimonials have historically had the strongest analytics for us, much higher click rates and open rates than static ads. So we're getting a fresh set of testimonials in the mix to really make sure that everyone understands the value of Valley College. Thank you for letting me share just a few of the items today.
Thank you. Is there another president?
Thank you, President. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ada.
Go ahead, Luis.
No, go ahead, Ada.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, trustees and chancellor. I wanted to just share out, similar to my colleagues, we've been also hosting registration days for graduating seniors. We had over 10 high schools. They took buses, they attended our college, and they spent the whole day here. We had a barbecue for them. They had a great time and got them through the application process and registration. We also have been having many celebrations, EOPS, CalWorks celebration, lovely event. We celebrated Asian Heritage Month by having over 4,500 community participants and students at Pierce, and there was dancing and lots of food and big celebration. It was an absolutely lovely event. We are planning also the award ceremony for this coming Saturday, and we're looking forward to that. It's an all-time high. Same with our graduation response rate, all-time high, students wanting to attend our graduation on June 7th. We have Congressmember Brad Sherman being present for us, and we're looking forward to that. And just really quickly, I'd like to mention that he personally spoke with me and told me that he is really going to work hard to get $2 million for Pierce College. So we are really excited about that. We also have had registration days, as I mentioned, a CTE fair. We are expanding our registration days throughout summer to include Saturdays. Our team at Pierce has been hard at work, and I'm very appreciative of everything that they've been doing for Pierce College. Thank you. And not to mention, DC was an absolute blast. Our team did amazing things. The music was incredible. And they joined the parade. We placed a wreath. We went to the Kennedy Center. It's just beautiful. We went to a basilica that is just amazing. That took 90 years to complete. So it was just spectacular. So thank you for that opportunity. And I'm sure you'll hear more about it.
Thank you very much. And with that level of expressiveness, the students at Pierce are lucky to have you, President.
Thank you.
President Luis Dorado.
Thank you, President Buona and trustees and chancellor. I also want to add in regards to Harvard College and all the activities that we've been doing for our onboarding in-person activities. We continue to do that for our summer bridge and our fall courses. Our counseling faculty have been great in assisting us along with our outreach team. They've been doing a great job. And we've been getting parents that have been attending with their students to register for our other classes. We continue to work with the local school boards. Sorry, trustee, we're taking our territory back in the South Bay. We also celebrated last week 129 students for the Distinguished President's Award. They're graduating with a 3.7 and transferring from some high-end institutions. So congratulations to them. We have 3 sets of twins that earned the Distinguished Graduation Award. So that's exciting. We had our Puente Noche de Familia. Today, our Puente students are getting their sashes. On Friday, May 20th, we had our 15th annual Seahawks Scholarship Golf Classic. We raised over $50,000 for student scholarships. So it was an exciting event. Yes and no, I did not win. My team did play, but I think we were a little over in regards to par. We will be celebrating our end of the year celebration for athletics tomorrow. 7 of our students were part of the 129 distinguished graduates, and they'll be receiving a $500 scholarship each for their for that distinguished, and thanks to our foundation. On Monday, June 6th, we will be celebrating our nursing pinning ceremony. We are excited to see all our new nurses. And then tomorrow on campus, we will have our VHTPA commencement, where I'll be speaking and inviting all the attendees to join us at Harvard College. On June 10th, Carson High School will be graduating at Harvard College, where I'll be doing the same thing, inviting all the participants to become part of the Harvard College family. And then, of course, on Tuesday, June 7th, we will be closing it out with our commencement, and there'll be a lot of pomp and a lot of circumstances. Thank you.
Thank you very much. President Ornelas, then President Roman, then President Awan, in that order.
Good afternoon, President Buena, members of the board, Chancellor Rodriguez. Just a few updates from Mission College. I want to begin by thanking everybody for supporting the Culinary Cup event. It was a successful event. We had close to 450 attendees, and we raised almost $75,000 that will go to student scholarships. So thank you all for your support. Also want to mention that we will, our keynote speaker for our graduation June 7th is author Prisca Mojica Rodriguez, who is the author of Brown Girls with Sharp Edges and Tender Hearts. So we're really excited to have her keynote for our graduation. And finally, both President Gribbons and myself will be at a press conference tomorrow accepting a $400,000 earmark from Congressman Cardenas. So hopefully you can join us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you very much. President Roman.
Thank you so much, President Buena, trustees, Chancellor Rodriguez, colleagues.
Similar to our sister colleges, we've had several recognitions on campus. We had some department celebrations for our students, and our special nursing pinning event will be this Friday. For those of you that are able to join us, please come by and celebrate our nursing students as they culminate their program and enter into the profession. Also looking forward to hosting the Mi Gente celebration, graduation this Sunday. Of course, this is an exciting time as well for us as we do our own commencement celebration on June the 7th. Our students are really looking forward to the in-person graduation this year, and we're all excited to be there to support them. Part of our focus right now at ELAC is putting more effort into continuing our outreach for fall, particularly for high school students. And in that vein, we hosted 14 college hour webinars with LAUSD this past month, really to target our high school students in local district East. We also had 41 comprehensive high school visits by our teams, the follow-up to our welcome days, again, gearing them up for the fall. And we had 4 registration fairs at Monterey Park, as well as our Southgate Educational Center. Again, this is our process to help students register for summer classes, as well as going into the spring. Complemented with that, we did a virtual registration event where we had approximately 250 students join us, again, to get help for registration. And we held approximately 200 classroom presentations by faculty, our staff and administrators who went into the classrooms to really help students register, nudge them, inform them of the deadlines, and try to get more of them to register for summer and for fall. So I want to thank our dedicated faculty, staff, and administrators who continue to push on the enrollment front. We participated in LAUSD's College Fair, where ELAC had a room where students were registered there on the spot, and we had counselors on the spot at that event as well. And we hosted our College Job Fair last week. We had several hundred students participate, and also hosted our counselors from LAUSD. They were on campus. We had over 100 counselors join us to continue that collaboration with ELAC. As we continue our outreach efforts, we are putting more in-person outreach events together. For example, we'll be tabling at the Univision Feria de Salud in Linwood on June the 4th. And we also have planned to be at several of the high school graduations this year. The ELAC teams will be out there tabling and distributing enrollment information. We do plan to be at Garfield High School, Southgate High School, Roosevelt, Bell High, Huntington Park, and in total, we will be at 9 high school graduations with teams there to help, again, get high school students registered. Finally, we're excited to launch the Summer Success Institute program. This is a program that will target approximately 2,000 continuing students who need to take English or math. It's a prep course for 5 weeks that will help them be prepared for these courses in the fall. We're also targeting first year students who need to take English or math as part of their education plan. So we know these are gateway courses and are critical to their success. And we want to make sure we provide the resources and support necessary for them to be able to succeed. So a lot of focus on that, a lot of resources, again, towards high school, and of course, towards our continuing students, particularly in those areas that can help them be successful. And with that, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. President Owan?
Thank you so much, trustees, chancellor, for this opportunity to share. We are in the happiest time of year, commencement season, so we've really been enjoying all of our events and activities. It's a good reminder of why we work so hard. We actually had our Employee Recognition Day just a few weeks ago and really got to recognize our unsung heroes on our campus, as well as our retirees and our new tenured faculty, as well as our classified professionals. So that was a really wonderful event. We celebrated our Dean Scholars Award ceremony. We had 1,100 Dean Scholars this year, which is the largest we've had. We had 500 students and their families on campus for an outdoor reception. It was very well attended and a beautiful event. We celebrated the President's Award ceremony last Thursday with a theater presentation and then a reception afterwards for the families. And again, we had about 180 President Scholars, the largest we've had. So again, really wonderful celebrations of our students and their academic excellence. We had a successful May enrollment event, and we have already planned out our summer in-person enrollment events for June, July, and August. as we gear up for summer and fall. We've also sent out about 10,000 additional promise welcome packets and acceptance letters to our promise students from our feeder high school. So that's been a wonderful activity, as well as inviting them to the college. We're hosting about 25 high school graduations on our campus. So we're also tabling and helping those students get enrolled as a part of our college as they graduate high school. I had the pleasure of attending our nursing pinning ceremony today. Again, it was our first in-person ceremony after quite a long break. So it was really nice to celebrate our students and their success, especially with the need for nurses in our post-COVID climate. And then we also hosted Councilmember Marquise Harris Dawson and hosted a hiring event with his office in the last few weeks. That was a very exciting opportunity as well. And with that, I'll just say thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Next president. Harry Zagas from LA Trade, Tech.
Yeah, thank you. On behalf of President Vanderbilt, I would like to report out that this past month we had on May 17th Senior Day, and we had over 700 local high school students and nearly 100 counselors that were welcomed in our campus for a day of presentations, tours, and lunch. And upcoming events, we have in-person open houses on August the 6th and August the 20th. This is for our fall enrollment push. In reference to our dual enrollment efforts, TradeTech is currently in the 10 local area high schools assisting with recruiting and applications of new students. Last Friday, the 27th, we had the Gold Thimble Fashion Show, where TradeTech hosted our students who presented by our design and media arts pathway, showcasing designs inspired by the Broadway musical. Students had the opportunity to show their talent, and there was a lot of talent out there, and a lot of our students got some amazing awards. It was very inspiring to all of us. Last Thursday, May the 26th, LATDC's Next Up program and Slate Z hosted a resource networking event that was attended by 50 LAUSD counselors working with homeless and foster youth. Presentations were made by our college programs, including basic needs, outreach and recruitment, Garden Scholars, CRCD, Brotherhood Crusade, and LA Collaborative. It was a great day to network and share about the essential programs and resources available here at TradeTech to our community. Our commencement is June the 7th at 5 p.m. We will host it in our new soccer field. This year, commencement speaker will be the California Community College Chancellor, Eloy Ortiz Oakley. Finally, Early College Academy at LATDC will celebrate the first graduating 4-year cohort. Of ECA certified graduating students, 8 are eligible to graduate with an AA degree and can participate in our college graduation ceremony next Tuesday, June the 7th. Thank you.
Thank you. And last but not least, President Limbaugh.
Thank you, President Wellman. In addition to the same types of events that my sister institutions are presenting, we're also focusing here on community partnerships as a way to increase our enrollment and promote student success. So for example, West is one of the 4 schools involved in a program called California Competes within Supervisor Holly Mitchell's district, in which we're focusing on increasing the completion of post-secondary awards for students from underserved backgrounds in terms of an intergovernmental collaboration. And I'm proud to say that Southwest is one of the other 4 schools as well. We're also developing partnerships with the LA Probation Office, Greater LA YWCA, and the Homeboy Industries to bring their students to our campus to participate in programs like film and TV production and dental hygiene. I'm proud to announce that our foundation held its first major fundraiser. We raised a little over $35,000 for scholarships, so we're very proud of that as our first venture. And we'll be hosting over 10,000 people in about 3 weeks because we're bringing back the Culver City fireworks to our campus. So we're very excited about that. So you're all invited. Special front row seat to watch the fireworks, but it'll be July 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you, President. And board, we will now move back to item C on the agenda, the oath of office of student trustee Kenneth Allen Callahan. And we're proud to Mr. Callahan, if you could ask your family to please come up and we will take the oath of office in front. Trustee Henderson.
Welcome. Very nice to meet you. Mr. Callahan, please get close. Very honored to conduct and administer the oath of office for you. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, you state your name. Solemnly swear. Solemnly swear. That I will support and defend. That I will support and defend. The Constitution of the United States. The Constitution. Constitution of the State of California. Against all enemies. Against all enemies. Foreign and domestic. Foreign. That I will bear true faith and allegiance. The Constitution of the United States. Constitution. Constitution of the State of California. Constitution. That I take this obligation freely. Without any mental reservation. Purpose of evasion. That I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter as student trustee. Congratulations, Mr. Callahan.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Mr. Callahan, would you like to say a few words? Well,
okay. So I'll just give a few words because usually if you give me enough time, I'll talk your ears off. I recently realized that I actually talk way more than I need to. So I'm going to keep this short. I believe it was Matthew 22:14, which states that many are called, but few are chosen. And that means a lot in many different contexts, and it could mean a lot for trustee position because there's pretty much over 100,000 eligible students within the district who are eligible for this position. And I'm the one student who got here. And I understand that with given the responsibility of my position, that dozens and dozens and dozens of students that are also just as capable and just as worthy of this responsibility as I am proud to be standing in this position and representing as many students as I can to the best of my ability. And not just students, I'm also representing the staff, the faculty, the people in this room who are working to make this college district the best it can be. We work as a unit. The students aren't necessarily separated from the faculty. Faculty aren't separated from the students. We all need to work together as a working system in order for things to proceed forward. And I look forward to representing everybody, working hard in this district to the best of my abilities to make us a greater college district for the future of higher education and for the future of education in general. So thank you for having me here.
Thank you. And on behalf of the trustees, board of trustees, welcome. Colleagues, would any board member like to make a comment before we move forward?
Just a welcome. We got to speak at the last Board of Trustee meeting, and I'm sorry I'm not there today, but I know you sacrificed a lot to sit on the board for us this year, and so I look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much. Any other, and board members, it's hard to see your hand. Trustee Vettis and then Trustee Hoffman.
Thank you. Student trustee, welcome. Really appreciate your words. It was a pleasure to meet you at the last meeting, to see your earnestness and diligence in doing this. Your voice is incredibly important. And like all of us, you have a responsibility to be connected to all 9 of the campuses and the satellites that we have there. So that's always a challenge, but definitely take advantage of the staff, of your liaisons, of the ASO presidents. Sometimes especially in this hybrid and remote environment, we haven't had the chance like we've done in past years to be able to connect with the local ASOs. And you have that connection with the student meetings that you all host, but at the same time, allowing them to have space to come forward to us is really important. And you'll be in a position to be a tremendous facilitator. And that's obviously quite exciting for us as the board to see our students have strong voices and be able to communicate well the interests of students for the district. So welcome aboard. Look forward to your advocacy and your work. And again, congratulations.
Okay. Trustee Hoffman.
Thank you. Welcome, Trustee Callahan. It's a pleasure to be able to witness you being sworn in, and I'm sorry I'm not there in person to meet you and meet your family, but very excited to have you on board. There are a couple conferences that are coming up this summer, so I'll be sure to get you some of the information. The Community College League puts on a student trustee conference, and I would love to involve you in some of the statewide work that I'm doing. I think it would, go nicely with your goals, and we're just so excited to have you with us, and I can't wait to be there with you in person. So congratulations, and congratulations to your family.
We are on the same wavelength. You don't even know.
Trustee Bella.
Trustee Callahan, welcome. I was really impressed with your speech at the African American graduation a couple of weeks ago. But more importantly, is if there's anything that I can do to be of a resource to you, please let me know. But just welcome. It feels really great to have you with us. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Trustee Henderson. You're live, so I was seeing you on the screen.
So I've said to newly sworn in Trustee Callahan, congratulations, and I'm incredibly proud of you. I had the pleasure of meeting Kenneth Allen at one of our Black African American Student Advisory Committee meetings, and he spoke and shared his experiences as an LACCD student, as a Black LACCD student, and his words were just so powerful. And I remember just immediately thinking what an outstanding student advocate he is. And I was so excited to see that not only he was interested in student government, but that he'd actually sought this position. So I am very excited to work with you. Very excited for you to be here, and excited for the students in LACCD to have yet another truly strong representation on this board.
Okay. Any other board member? Trustee Moreno.
Yes. Welcome. I think you start off excellently by quoting scripture. I think that's the best way to start a new beginning at the LA Community Colleges. Welcome.
Oh, Trustee Moreno, I was waiting for a scripture of your own here, and you kind of let us hang in there.
Don't worry, we can have our own study sessions later on.
Okay. I was. All right. Seeing no other additional comments, we're going to move on to request to address the Board of Trustees on regular agenda items. Are there any persons signed up to address the Board of Trustees regarding regular agenda items? Lupe is seeing that we have approximately 12 individuals. So seeing that we have, so since the board provides for a maximum of 20 minutes per topic, and we have 12 items, may I please have a motion for each speaker to be allocated 2 minutes per item?
So moved.
Trustee Henderson.
Second.
Second, Trustee Moreno. Roll call.
Student Trustee Callahan's advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Buelna.
Yes.
Trustee Henderson. Trustee Hoffman.
No.
Trustee Eno.
Yes.
Trustee Moreno.
Yes.
Trustee Vela.
Yes.
Trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on. I'm going to call individuals. If you're here, please come to the microphone. You will have 2 minutes. Please, you can either time yourself or Lupe has a timer. If you could please respect the clock. I'm going to call Milagro Jones. It's going to Milagro Jones, then Catherine L. Yeah, then Amy, then Lizette. So whenever you're ready, she'll start.
Cool. First, I'd like to just, should I unmute myself on here? First, I'd like to just say it's cowardly for y'all to cut us down to 2 minutes. Second, I'd like to say if you want to commemorate Juneteenth Day, how can you even do so when a student like myself is not even free in this building? Just taking my daughter to the bathroom, I was stopped by a white building engineer who felt the need to question me on why am I in the building? Am I making a delivery? And let me know that I'm not even free to be in this building as a student. If you want to commemorate Juneteenth Day, do it by investing dollars in Black students. The framework for racial equity and social justice includes no tangible policy changes for African-American students. It does nothing to address the anti-Blackness and trustee budget decisions, policy initiatives, racist curriculum, and the direct racism students experience from armed sheriff deputies on campus, staff on campus, and in the classroom from other students and professors. Juneteenth is an opportunity for African Americans to celebrate our emancipation from slavery. But the reality is that we are overrepresented in California juvenile facilities, jails, and prisons, and underrepresented in California institutions of higher education. This is not a result of inherent criminality. I would know. I'm a convicted felon. I have been in juvenile detention facilities, jails, and prisons. Many of those experiences were the result of racial profiling, false accusations, and wrongful convictions. There is no such thing as restorative justice. I have not gotten back the time, opportunity, or civil rights that were taken away from me. I have been made into a second-class citizen. I came to the Board of Trustees 3 years ago with my daughter asking for help. I asked the Chancellor to mentor me. He said he would, but he never did. I asked for basic needs for myself and my daughter as a formerly homeless, formerly incarcerated single parent who earned his GED in a correctional facility. The Board of Trustees did not answer my pleas. I came here time and time again to advocate on behalf of myself and my fellow students. If you don't care about me and my daughter, how can you care about Juneteenth when we are the descendants of enslaved Americans? My father was born before the Civil Rights Act was passed. I am the first generation of my family to be born with the legal benefits of full civil rights, and I had those taken away from me. I was arrested for the first time at 11 years old for playing in a public park that was predominantly white. I was not trespassing. I was unwanted. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Catherine L., then Amy.
Trustee Buelna.
Yes.
Can the speaker repeat his name, please? I didn't get it.
Milagro Jones.
No, the one that just went.
No, that was Milagro Jones.
How do you spell that, please?
Milagro, Milagro Jones, Jones.
And where is he a student?
Troy Tech.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, UCLA. Sorry, correction, UCLA. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Catherine L.
So, can everyone hear me?
Is Catherine L. on?
Yes.
Okay. When you're ready, Catherine.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Hello to the Board of Trustees and all watching. My name is Catherine Lozano. I'm a computer science student from East Los Angeles College who is transferring this fall. My time as a student in the LACCD district has seen shortcomings regarding resource allocation. As a body that overheads one of the nation's largest community college districts, we should be sending a message that students are and will always be our main priority. Previously, the LACCD has had some trouble in retaining and pushing students to transfer. I believe as a student who has gone through the community college system that we need to improve our resources, classes, and counseling to assist all students. There are academic studies that support the funding of mental health over police funding. For instance, in patrolling public schools, the impact of funding for school police on student discipline and long-term education outcomes by Assistant Professor of Public Policy Emily Weisburst states that exposure to a 3-year federal grant for school police is associated with a 2.5% decrease in high school graduation rates and a 4% decrease in college enrollment rates. This result is not just a statement in an academic paper, but a trend found across all studies. UCLA doctoral student Eleni Edwards, the ACLU, and the National Education Association have reciprocated the same trend in their studies. I understand having police presence, but for it to oversee a student's needs is a boundary that should not be broken. It's time to not renew the sheriff's contract. LACCD is an educational district first and should always be. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Student Amy.
Hello. Hello, Chancellor and Board of Trustees. My name is Amy Mayorga, and I'm a student at Los Angeles Pierce College. I'm also a student intern for AFT 1521. I hope that what I come to address today is taken into great consideration and that you reflect on the action that you guys are about to impose on. To exceed $25,441,618 is what the Los Angeles Sheriff Department wishes to exceed. Seriously, it is understandable for an organization to push in increasing their funds for better equipment, training, or other resources, but to push for more millions of dollars is to put the wishes of the Sheriff Department before the people who truly need this funding, the people within the community colleges. Professors, staff, faculty, students are in desperate need for more funding and many different resources. Let's talk about the cutting down of class sizes, laying off staff, or reducing salary. Is the agreement with security much more important than the souls of our school? Of course not. Evidence has shown that by increasing the presence of campus security does in fact not make a safe place for students, but encourages hostility and threats. The violent nature that the Sheriff Department imposes from previous actions, like the killing of former LATTC student Andres Guardado, raises questions to whether the Los Angeles Sheriff Department should even be considered to protect our students. As a student myself, I have seen firsthand how hostile our campuses feel when setting foot. And with supporting their funding, not much will change in the way that they perform for our safety. What we need is for this funding to go towards individuals and programs that make these schools great, like mental health resources, programs for different career paths, and even towards our student homelessness problem. Please, I urge you to decide not to further fund the Sheriff Department, and please focus on the people that truly need your help. Thank you.
Lizette, you're next. Thank you.
Hello, Board of Trustees and Chancellor Rodriguez. My name is Lizette Perez. I'm a student at Los Angeles Pierce College, majoring in sociology and a student intern for NFT 1521. I'm here today because I have a difficult time understanding how at a time when there's been a reduction in student services, classes are being cut, and there have been talks about laying off faculty, and when we are experiencing low enrollment rates, you could even be considering increasing LASD funding. What kind of message does this send to your students? I'll tell you what it tells me. It says that you'd rather spend money on the idea that LASD keeps our campuses safe instead of investing that money into your students. There's also almost no evidence that proves that the presence of an armed police officer or deputy sheriff affects school safety at all. There's considerable evidence that the presence of a police officer in schools increases school-based arrests for low-level, nonviolent behaviors that have traditionally been the domain of school disciplinarians. That is especially harmful to our Black and Brown students and faculty. Let us not forget the murder of LACCD student Andres Guardado in 2020 by the LASD. He was one of us. How does this make your students feel safe? During my time at Los Angeles Pierce College, I have had no interactions with LASD. And as far as their presence on our campuses go, I'd say seeing their empty patrol cars parked in our parking lots does close to nothing to protect our campus. I have only heard of one instance when Sheriff Villanueva made an effort to visit our campus to hold a town hall, only to have him cancel it at the last minute. How can the LACD know what's best for the students they are so generously paid to protect and serve if they can't even be bothered to meet with us and hear our concerns? They have no problem asking for more money, but they can't provide us with clear reporting to justify the additional funding. Show us why you need more money. Show us what you're doing to protect our campuses, because I have yet to see the return on the district's investment. Take that money that you want to put into LASD and invest it into your students instead. Thank
you very
you
much.
for your time.
Okay. Next, for our Christopher Strickland, Zach Noor, Mario Macias.
Hello, my name is Christopher Strickland, and I teach at Los Angeles Pierce College. We have just heard from our wonderful and superb LACCD students. The students have spoken. We have heard their voices at a time when they are taking their final exams, at a tumultuous and stressful time in the nation's history. To me, their voices resound loudly with many sentiments from students, parents, staff, faculty, administrators, and many people across the nation, hoping for an equitable, healthy, financial, astute, safe, and accountable leadership for our campuses and district. College campuses should be spaces where everyone feels safe and secure to learn and work. Essentially, we all need each other for our campuses to be successful and great. As a constituent, as a faculty member, as a Black man, I urge that we listen to our students' collective voice today, along with fellow staff and faculty voices of which you will hear today, and take heed to their knowledge and wisdom. Furthermore, there is little convincing evidence that the presence of an armed police officer or deputy sheriff has much effect on school safety at all. In fact, there is considerable evidence that the presence of a police officer in schools increases school-based arrests for low-level nonviolent behaviors that have traditionally been the domain of school disciplinarians. This is especially harmful to our Black and brown students and faculty. I hope we can imagine safer alternatives to public safety in the near future that don't criminalize our students and communities. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Strickland. Zachary Noor.
Yes, thank you, Chancellor and Board of Trustees, for the opportunity to speak. Welcome, Student Trustee Callahan. Congratulations on your election and looking forward to you serving for a year on the board. So thank you so much. I want to thank the students who have already spoken, Dr. Strickland, and I want to echo their concerns on the issue of the contract with the sheriffs. We're experiencing a time of enrollment decline. Faculty are losing jobs. Staff is still bargaining for a contract. Student services are being cut. And we're talking about a $25 million a year contract with the LA Sheriff's Department. I've come to the board and asked this question before, but I feel compelled to ask it again. Are the sheriffs an organization that really matches with and supports the values of our district? We claim to be a district that's committed to being anti-racist. We claim to be a district that's supposed to provide a safe space for all of our students. Yet the sheriffs have a long and documented history of civil rights violations, including the murder of one of our students, Andres Guardado, as has been mentioned. The sheriffs have a long-standing relationship with ICE, where they have been known to work with ICE to help detain and eventually deport undocumented members of our community. These are our students. These are our community members. If you're reading the LA Times, and I hope everybody is, there are continual articles coming out about cover-ups within the Sheriff's Department. Even a recent LA Times article that mentions our very board in this contract. I hope everybody's read it. And so my question is this an organization that fits the values or the professed values of LACCD? And I don't believe that it does. So please, the students have said it more eloquently than I can. Please consider these questions with the contract. Let's put our money and our resources towards supporting our students and creating safe spaces for them to learn, not towards the LA Sheriff's Department. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Professor Noor. Mario Macias.
Hi, dear Chancellor Rodriguez, LACCD trustees, and Los Angeles taxpayers. First of all, happy Pride Month. My name is Mario Macias. I'm a faculty member in the Library Science Department of Pierce College. As co-chair of Pierce's Diversity Committee, I must say that we should not be approving this contract with the Sheriff's Department. This approval undervalues your promises in the district's framework for racial equity and social justice. When I served as a faculty advisor for the queer student group at Pierce in 2018, my own student leaders protested against Pierce's first ever Pride Festival because we had included police presence into the logistics of hosting an on-campus event. This student group did not feel safe with the inclusion of any police. On the contrary, They felt it was antithetical, paradoxical, gaslighting to have a police officer in their own Pride event. We should be allocating some of those $20 million towards alternative security systems, maybe a program that provides jobs to our low-income students. More guns do not equal better public safety. Not reform, imagine reallocation, divestment. At Pierce, we have to scramble for funding towards equity, diversity, and inclusion programs. We hear that there's no funding sources or that we have to compete with other requests. And yet, here we are giving $20 million to a disgraced sheriff's department right before a local election. In your framework from 2020, you stated that the LACCD must lead by example, that we should make structural and permanent change. So please let us do that. You have the power to disempower systemic racism. Do it for young Angelinos like Andres Guardado.
Thank you very much, Mr. Macias. Next, we'll have Dale Fields, Irais Liera, and Catherine Andres. And for the record, I'm also noting that we have a written statement from Cesar Robelo. So, Mr. Fields.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Board of Trustees and Chancellor Rodriguez. My name is Dale Fields, faculty of Los Angeles Pierce College, and I've come to you to speak on agenda item X. On June 1st, the first day of Pride Month, we've already recognized this month in support of some of our most vulnerable students. Our queer students are overrepresented in our homeless population, overrepresented in our food insecurity population, overrepresented in our mental health support needs, and suffer from our largest equity gaps in the classroom, especially so when we look at the intersection of queerness and race. This month is also about supporting our queer students who come to places like Pierce and have a chance to open up and be themselves. Many of our queer students are not out to their families. Our colleges are, at their best, a safe place for our queer students to be their full, authentic selves. And I've seen our queer students prefer to come back in person into our colleges for that very reason. Our students already experience the mental stresses of passing, the social danger of rejection, the physical danger of being outed, and yet they come to our colleges to get away from that and attempt to both be themselves and pursue the chance to better themselves. And when they come to our colleges, they see the sheriff's department, they know that their freedom is an illusion. This month is about supporting our queer students, so one quick story. In the before times, I was sitting out with the members of our queer club next to our mall, and the students were laughing and telling stories. And then the volume started to drop and their words slowed down. And in unison, every one of their heads swiveled to follow the sheriff's car driving down our mall. Every single head. This is the effect that having the sheriff's department has on one of our most vulnerable populations. This is the effect that this body chooses to put upon our students with the largest equity gaps. So go make your decision, but be conscious about what you are choosing for our students when you choose for our district resources to go to the sheriff's department and not to those most vulnerable students who are being left behind.
Thank you. Thank you very much. For the record, Cesar Rodelo, Irais Liera, Catherine Andres, Edison Naranjo have submitted, have provided written comments. Lupe, are there any additional persons?
Not for agenda matters.
Okay,
No.
moving on to E2, public comment on non-agenda items. I'm going to call on Professor Pat Lewis, who is in person, and Tremine Frazier, also in person, then Haiti Tatum via Zoom, and then Milagro Jones as well.
Hello.
Okay.
I
If
am
you- if
Professor
you-
Emeritus
oh, yes, sorry.
Patricia Lewis. I worked at Los Angeles Southwest College for 35 years. I have seen things that I am very concerned about today. I'm a businesswoman now and still love and care for LA Southwest College. I'm a member of the Southwest College Community Coalition. And today, based on information from my colleagues, I have changed my reason for being here today. I wanted to address the reduced, deleted, archived credit courses that are preventing our students from graduating or sending them to other campuses to graduate. I had a whole lot to say, but I am not going to address all of these things today, and I want to give my time to my colleagues. Thank you.
Okay. Lupe, how many minutes are left in that? Just to make sure.
1 minute.
Okay, sir. So you go. Oh,
Good
sorry. If you can state your name, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Tremaine Frazier. I'm a alumni of LA Southwest College, a member of the LASC Community Coalition team. Past employee, I work for academic affairs, financial aid. I did outreach. I'm a business professional now. As Pat Lewis said, I had a lot to say today, but because of the circumstances that of today, I'm rescinding my statements, and I will say that as we say in my field, nothing is official until we get a signature. But I defer my last minute to Dr. Robinson.
Okay, Dr. Roberts.
Thank you. Members of the Board of Trustees, Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, we thank the Board of Trustees for the work per our request thus far that you have done on behalf of the Los Angeles Southwest College Community Coalition. We thank you because we hope that some of your collective decisions are such that the issues that we have brought before you for the last 6 or 7 months have perhaps been addressed at this juncture. We hope, therefore, if those issues have indeed been addressed, we hope that the next steps, gentlemen and lady, are truly in order for the advancement of Los Angeles Southwest College, and again, on behalf of the Los Angeles Southwest College Community Coalition. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Professor Heidi Tatum, who's on via Zoom, and then after that, we have Milagro in person.
Good afternoon. I am Professor Tatum, a health instructor at Los Angeles Southwest College. Today, I'm going to speak about the concerns regarding non-credit courses. Although non-credit courses may not affect a student's grade point average, we have identified that non-credit courses can impact the percentage rate of courses, as well as affect students' future financial aid. Students who take non-credit courses usually cannot use those courses towards transfer or graduation. By providing equitable credit courses, it allows students the opportunity to transfer to colleges, universities, earn degrees, as well as compete in the workforce. Based on statistical data from the California Community College Chancellor's Office, 1.8 million students attend 166 California colleges, making that the highest educational system in the country. Over 69% of California community college students are of diverse ethnic background. Statistics also show that students who graduate with an AA degree from a California community college can earn up to $11,000 a year more than a high school graduate. Our kinesiology and health associate degrees can earn an average of up to $48,000 a year. And some of those careers can be a fitness instructor, fitness consultant, athletic coach, personal trainer, radiologist, technician, surgical technician, occupational aide, and a respiratory therapy assistant. In conclusion, our goal should be to provide students with educational paths that will lead to degrees and jobs that would help expand their financial stability. Offering non-credit courses that do not lead to continued education or jobs only impedes students' progress, keeping them in idle, deferring their opportunities for financial self-sufficiency.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And Milagro Jones. Welcome back, Mr. Jones.
First, I would just like to start by saying I was called into the hallway to speak to the building engineer, supposedly for an apology, but it was so difficult for him to be honest and just deliver a real apology that he told the gentleman he would hand in his resignation today, because he can't even humble himself to say he's sorry for discriminating against me for being in this building. I just think that's really messed up, and I would like to address the Black graduation celebration. You guys made it about yourselves. It's supposed to have been about the students. I've been here for 3 years, and I've been begging for help, begging for help. I got to go to UCLA to get food from the food pantry because this district would never help us. And it just leave us struggling. And this is all y'all gave me over 3 years. You gave me a water bottle, a notebook, a kente cloth, and a backpack. Over 3 years, that's the investment that you put in me as an African-American student. And I made it to UCLA, not because of y'all, but despite y'all. And I did it for my daughter. And I brought my daughter here with me every time I've been down here and told y'all my struggles. We don't have food at home. We don't have toilet paper. She got to stay home from school today because I don't have money to even do laundry so she can feel comfortable going to school and clean clothes. I came down here and was honest with y'all, said my truth. Y'all never cared. Every time I see the chancellor, I approach him in public places and tell him my story and tell him what I'm going through. Never cared. He fought for his salary increase, but he never fought for us as students. So don't celebrate Juneteenth Day until y'all ready to actually be honest about how y'all treat y'all Black students. And be honest to this student trustee about what y'all really do behind closed doors. Because Alfredo Gama was a real student trustee who held y'all accountable. And y'all need to continue being held accountable because y'all have failed us as Black students. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lupe, are there any other agenda item, any other speakers for non-agenda items?
No, sir. We're done with the list. Thank you.
Okay. We will now move forward to reports from the board. So we're going to start off. So no one's surprised. Trustee Vela, Hoffman, and Henderson. Trustee Vela, can you summarize the proceedings of Legislative Affairs and Public Affairs from May 18th, please?
Yes, thank you so much, President Buena. The committee did vote on various action items. One was to support AB 2627 Bar Khan, which enables community colleges to outreach to hard-to-reach populations such as veterans, foster youth, and incarcerated individuals by entering into an MOU with the state or local agency as defined for purposes of sharing data for enrollment purposes. That went unanimous. Second, we took action on AB 2738. Reyes requires California community colleges to make available information regarding course schedules and degree completion, as well as disaggregated data regarding completion dates, and offer courses associated with degrees and certificates within a specified timeline. That also was sent out unanimously. And then also we voted on Senate Bill 1141 Limon, which expands the eligibility for the exemption from paying non-resident tuition at a California public post-secondary institution established for long-term California residents. Of note, we're able to put through the Appropriations Committee in Washington, D.C., several earmark items that some of you will be attending tomorrow at West LA Valley College, I believe. And that would be to support and increase the inclusive and equitable STEM workforce and allied health. And that is coming from Congressman Cardenas. So congratulations to all the community there. Also, we were able to submit earmarks for biotech baccalaureate degree program at Pierce College for $2 million. And that was submitted by Representative Brad Sherman. So thanks to him. And then also $2 million that was submitted by our Congresswoman Karen Bass for LA Trade Tech College. Locally, we continue to reach out to our local high schools and high school districts in regards to enrolling. And I do want to thank President Roman, who in particular has been doing a lot of the outreach in the Southeast Los Angeles community, as well as Southwest College, and then Dr. Barry Gribbins for utilizing the agency of record to also begin the marketing campaigns for our students. And at this point, that is pretty much it. I mean, obviously you guys all know, and people have seen that the state budget it continues to get debated in Sacramento. The legislature has to pass a June 15th budget bill. However, from what we know, some of the Assembly and Senators' request will still continue after the June 15 deadline of having the budget passed through baby budget bills that will continue till the end of session. That's it for the legislative committee. Thank you.
Committee that you chaired on May 18th, please.
Thank you, President Welna, and thank you, Trustee Velix. That's a good lead into Budget and Finance Committee. First of all, I want to congratulate Trustee Eno for being on the Budget and Finance Committee now. So we have a super powerful all-female committee. Yay. And with the addition of Jeanette Gordon as our Vice Chancellor, it's watch out, everybody. We had a presentation on the state budget by our lobbyist, Mark McDonald. So thank you for the update on that, Trustee Vella. We also had presentations from 5 of our colleges on how they're spending their HERF funds. And then we had a presentation on our tentative budget, which we voted to put on our board agenda for today. It's on consent calendar. So hopefully everybody will just support it. I want to thank Deborah Laterre for her wonderful explanation. We had lots of questions and she did a fantastic job. I don't know if you're here today at the board meeting, but Ms. Gordon, she represented you well in your absence. I know you were at a conference, and that is my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Hoffman. Trustee Henderson, can you summarize the proceedings of the Institutional Effectiveness and Student Success Committee that you chaired on May 18th, and if you could summarize the proceedings of the first meeting of the Board Ad Hoc Committee for the immediate action on Black and African American stakeholders outcomes that was held on May 6th.
Thank you, President Buolna. For the IESS report, the Institutional Effectiveness and Student Success Committee met on May 18th. Trustees Veras and Moreno were in attendance. This report will be very short. The committee received the college enrollment, recruitment, and marketing report from LA Trade Tech College from President Katrina Vanderwood and her team. Vice Chancellor Ryan Corner provided an accreditation report as well as enrollment updates. And the next meeting will be held on June 15th. For the ad hoc on Black and African American stakeholder outcomes, we met on May 6th. Trustee Andrew Hoffman serves on the ad hoc committee with me. And we met with some faculty and staff regarding I guess most specifically outcomes. We've set goals. We have 3 goals set and possibly 2 more meetings. The goal is to be very intentional and concise with our discussions and to provide action items to the board in the coming months. So it was mainly discussion that we had at the meeting.
Thank you very much. Trustee Veras, can you summarize the proceedings of the Board Ad Hoc Committee on Athletics that you chaired on May 11th?
Yes, thank you. The committee heard 2 presentations. We're continuing our dig into all 9 of our colleges, facilities, and programs. And we heard from Los Angeles Mission College and had a presentation. Los Angeles Mission College is actually, it was a very interesting presentation because it marked a school that has lots of energy and very positive outlook on collegiate sports, but have limited facilities. And the school and the student athletes that were there to present to us had talked about some of the challenges and difficulties with having stability in athletic facilities and space. And the college worked closely with LA Valley College and trying to find game space, and had commented about potentially even doing playoff games out of the area that were challenging. They had absolutely fully utilized a multi-purpose gym that's there. adapted even soccer play inside of the gym for a futsal style approach, but really really talked about some of the challenges that exist at the college. But great enthusiasm. The student presentations were really quite wonderful. The students were absolutely committed to be there, enjoyed their experience as athletes, and it is an important part of the campus. But again, a big challenge in terms of the existing facilities that are there. We also heard from LA Southwest College, who essentially is focused on fielding 3 teams. They have facilities, and the president went over their Facilitron automated system in which the community and outside activities can gain access to the facilities at Southwest College campus. And so that presentation covered a number of the features that were there. The president had remarked on the interest to field future teams in soccer and volleyball. As it stands, there are men's and women's basketball and football for the fall that were discussed. But again, the core of the presentation focused on how their Facilitron automated system is opening the campus for campus facilities for outside use. So those were the 2 reports given. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving forward to item to board travel authorization. May I have a motion and a second on item G2 board travel authorization? May I have a motion?
So moved, Eno.
So moved by trustee Eno, seconded by trustee Henderson. Any comments? Roll call.
Student trustee Callahan, advisory vote.
Before I vote, clarification on what this action item is.
Sure. Chancellor, do you want a clarification on the travel?
Yes, there's a particular question. This is, we authorize travel for board members, including yourself, and has to be authorized in public. Is there a particular question, sir, on the item?
Oh, no, I was just wanting
Yeah,
clarification.
and this is a national organization in which our trustees participate. Typically annually, it's been slowed and done virtually the last few years, but now it's back in person.
Trustee Vettis, you have a comment?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I thought he was done with the comment, but trustees, if I could ask to be added to this, I haven't made a final decision on attending, but I don't believe we're going to have another meeting in place to do this prior to this event. So wanted to see if I'm also a continuing member of the organization, but if I can ask to be included now, there is a possibility I may not be able to attend an LAL conference as noted there.
Trustee, better give me 1 second. So, General Counsel, I mean,
just a friendly amendment to add trustee.
Okay, so
Jeff.
friendly amendment's fine. Okay, so okay, can I get a first and a second to accept the friendly amendment?
I accept.
President Vettis, Trustee Vettis to the agenda item.
I accept the friendly amendment.
Second, Callahan.
Okay, and then student trustee is this. Do we not vote on the amendment?
You don't need to vote on the friendly
Okay,
amendment. It's been
thank you.
accepted, so you can just vote on
Okay,
the item.
got it. All right.
Trustee Verison.
Thank you.
Okay, any other amendments? Trustee Vettis, did we get your amendment correct? It's just to go to one conference, or was there 2 conferences?
That is correct. That's the one.
The one conference. Okay. Okay, roll call.
Student trustee advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Buelna,
Yes.
trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Moreno,
Yes.
trustee Vela,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go now to section H, resolutions. We're going to do each resolution one by one. May I have a motion and a second on item H1?
So moved.
Is there a trustee?
I'll second.
Second, trustee Hoffman, second. Any comments?
Yes.
Trustee Vela.
Oh, hi, everybody. I just really want to thank the board and thank our faculty, students and staff and our administration for joining us in celebrating Pride Month. In the United States, as you know, more than ever, we as the LGBTQ plus community have had our rights assaulted and continue to do so throughout the state. And we recently had the opinion of Roe versus Wade, which was extremely troubling. And a lot of us activists feel that our rights will soon also be erased with the climate and what we saw in Florida, and much violence towards our community. That's the bad part of it. The good part of it is that we continue to join the celebrations in Los Angeles, the district. I'm very proud with the help of all of us at the board and our administration and our students and the steering committee. Will be participating this Sunday at West Hollywood Pride event. So again, thank you for everyone who put that together. It's a lot of hard work. So I want to thank our committee members and staff as well. And then we will also be participating in the Pride Parade for Los Angeles on, I believe, June 12th. It's a Sunday. So two very busy weekends, again, of celebration, of solidarity. So again, I want to also thank Trustee Henderson and Hoffman for joining in. And I invite anyone who would like to also join in presenting this resolution to go ahead and do so now. But again, thank you all.
Well, I would like to be added to it.
I would as well.
Excuse me?
I would as well.
Yeah, Trustee Eno.
Yes.
Okay, and anyone else, just let us know after as well. All right. Oh, roll call.
Student trustee advisory vote.
Before I vote, I can be added to this resolution.
Excuse me?
I can be added to the resolution.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, definitely add me. Would that be another friendly amendment?
No, we can. We'll just add your name.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay. Roll call.
Student trustee advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Boulna.
Yes.
Trustee Henderson.
Yes.
Trustee Hoffman.
Yes.
Trustee Eno.
Yes.
Trustee Moreno.
Yes.
Trustee Vela.
Yes.
Trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Thank you very much. A resolution in celebration of Juneteenth Independence Day. Oh, sorry, it was written down incorrectly. In celebration of Juneteenth Emancipation Day. May I have a motion and a second on item H2?
Second.
Trustee Eno motion, Trustee Henderson second. Trustee Vela, officially, Trustee Vela, you seconded.
We'll share that second. Thank you.
I'm not sure Robert's Rules of Orders allows for that. Okay, so.
Trustee Henderson.
No, you have it. She surrendered it. So is there any comment on this resolution?
Comment? Yes.
Okay, Trustee Eno.
I'd like to thank Trustee Henderson for asking me to participate in this resolution. And I also heard the student speaker earlier, and I hope in the future, I know you've moved on to transfer to UCLA, but hopefully we can better serve our African-American Black community, students and community. And I hope with this day of recognition and emancipation and things that move forward, we can further push to advocate for students, African-American Black students.
Thank you. Any additional comments?
Comment?
That's student trustee.
Okay. So again, or commenting somewhat on Jones's point, the Black condition within any situation, whether it be higher education, the general, or I guess I'll take that off. I'll just lean in. Oh my gosh, I got so close. I'll put this right in front of my face. I can still breathe. Okay, but the Black condition is very complex, complicated, and in terms of how it's going to be addressed, things like acknowledging Juneteenth, the Emancipation Day, they are very powerful in bringing awareness to those who are not within the community, who are not directly affected by the community, but there is a very strong point of action. We may come in recognition of these events and seeing the people and their needs, but it can only mean so much until we've actually gone out and done something for those communities. And I'm not going to, say that we've never done anything for the Black community, because we have. I bear witness, but I've also bear witness to some of the things that we failed to provide for our African American students. So regardless of my vote here today, I do want to acknowledge that this resolution and resolutions similar to this don't just mean we're celebrating another holiday. This is the it's a piece of the times. It's a reminder of where we are today, what our values are, and like I said before, I talk a whole bunch, so I'm gonna try to cut it off, but actions speak louder than words. And beyond this, I look forward to doing more action and providing more for not just Black students, but for the general marginalized communities that are often underrepresented within and outside of the educational context. And that's my piece.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other comments from board members? Seeing none, roll call.
Student trustee advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Boulna,
Yes.
trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Moreno,
Yes.
trustee Vela,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Okay. Next resolution, AB 361, resolution to hold via telecom for the board's committees. May I have a motion and a second on item H3?
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Eno moved, trustee Hoffman second. Is there any comment? Seeing none, roll call.
Student trustee Callahan's advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Boulna,
Yes.
trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Moreno,
Yes.
trustee Vela,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Report from the chancellor.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Buelna, members of the board, colleagues. Let me start this report. It's a rather short report, but an important one related to drawing your attention to the chancellor's monthly report that is posted on our website. That we draw your attention to the items that include our status of COVID-19 and how we're addressing that, our update on our enrollment and enrollment marketing strategies, as well as update on our district-wide foundation, other notices about the activities going on like commencement. You see the wonderful representation there, and any other special news. So again, the board has received the monthly report, and we ask our public at your discretion to review that report. It contains lots of information about what's going on at LACCD. So here's what I got in store for you today. Just three things. Next slide, please. To share this afternoon. One is going to be talking about the special events and announcements. If we could adjust the slide, please. It's not moving on my end. There we are. Thank you so much. I'd like to, this is the celebration month. I like to describe this as the season of sheet cakes. You've heard the college presidents report out on all the wonderful ways in which we're celebrating the work of our faculty, staff, in celebration of the success of our students as they move on to their next chapter in their educational or work journey. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the most prestigious of what we believe are community college scholarships in the country, the Jack Kent Cook scholarships. talk a little bit about the graduation celebrations, and then make some special announcements. So starting with the Jack Kent Cook, I'm really, really, really pleased that, look at this, we have again 3 students from amongst our district who will be awarded a very lucrative scholarship. This is upwards of $165,000 per student. Think about that for a moment and the kind of impact that that kind of scholarship can make on behalf of the Jack Kent Cook Family Foundation. So we congratulate the Maple Dong from East LA College. We congratulate Melanie Bennett from LA City and David Tanoko from West LA College. Congratulations to you and to all the faculty that helped support your academic journey. We celebrate you. And I would make this note that we've had annually up to 6, 7 scholarship winners. There's less than about 100 or so selected throughout the entire country. And I'm very, very pleased that we have 3 here from our own LACCD district. So congratulations again to East, to City, and to West for producing some incredible students. And good luck to Maple, Melanie, and David. Moving on, earlier you've heard reports on the wonderful celebrations related to the Lavender graduation, the Black graduation annual ceremony that took place. And this is the one that's coming up this Sunday at East Los Angeles College. It is the Mi Gente graduation celebration. It's the first one that is done to celebrate the achievements of Latino students throughout the district. I understand there are about 1,000 students that have signed up already to this celebration at the Weingart Stadium. We thank Dr. Roman and his team for opening up East LA College for this celebration on Sunday. And the keynote speakers will be Constance Marie and Danny Trejo, otherwise known as El Machete. So looking forward to seeing folks out there this Sunday. And here are the commencement schedules. These are widely reported on the websites, and you've heard our college presidents report out that earlier. That is a week or June 7th. We look forward to seeing all our students and their families in celebration, as well as our faculty. It's our first in-person celebration, as you know, since 2019. So we're looking forward to getting back to in-person ceremonies, and welcome all of our students to join us there. We're graduating. One of the key activities that you heard was, and reported by Dr. Gallagher, was the wonderful news that the First Lady of the United States, Dr. Biden, will be providing the keynote address at LA City College. And this provides particular significance to us. She's been with us before in 2016 when she kicked off our Los Angeles College Promise Program that initiated what then would become a statewide California College Promise Program, in which every single Californian who wishes to attend community college can do so 2 years tuition free. So back in 2016, that was the spark that we believe led both a statewide and now indeed a national movement for tuition free education across the country. So we've welcomed the First Lady back and look forward to her comments next week at LA City College. And this is my last slide. We want to extend some congratulations. We mentioned this previously, but I'd like to do this again to congratulate Dr. Corner, our current Vice Chancellor of Educational Programs and Institutional Effectiveness. He will be taking on the helm as Superintendent President of Glendale College on July the 1st. We recognize him, we thank him, we celebrate him today, and we have a wonderful recognition certificate that we'll be presenting to you as well, Dr. Corner. But we thank you for your service to the district. Everybody, please join me in thanking Dr. Ryan Corner. Ryan. I also am very, very pleased to announce, if you've not heard already, that Dr. Sahara Wan, the president of Los Angeles Southwest College, will be the new president of Mission College. Yes, there is another Mission College in Northern California as part of the West Valley Mission Community College District, and she will be there as their new president beginning in August. So we want to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Awan for her leadership of Southwest College over the last 4 years and wish her well in her next chapter. So please join me in congratulating Dr. Sahara Wan. Wonderful. And this next one is a planned retirement, a planned departure, and a planned transition. And I'm very, very pleased to have Michael Fuller here joining us in the audience here. He's our Chief Advancement Officer and Executive Director of the Foundation for our community colleges here, our district-wide foundation. Michael's been here about 5+ years at the helm in this, and it just has brought guidance, leadership, and structure to our district-wide foundation. And we've had our best years under the years of Michael Fuller. So Michael, we know that these are times in which you are going on to a glorious, beautiful new chapter. I've heard about your next steps, and many of us are wishing you well in this next chapter. And we want to just thank you for being such an incredible partner to us all the way through. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking Michael Fuller and extending a reach of gratitude for his next chapter. And the members of the board, and if I could also introduce the person who will now succeed Michael. Her name is Kelly King. Kelly, please take a stand, take a bow here, and welcome to LACCD. Kelly joins us at LACCD. There's some nice overlap between the two. She comes most recently from one of the most respected philanthropic organizations in Los Angeles, and indeed in California, the California Community Foundation, where she was in a senior role there. So we're very, very happy that Kelly is now joining the LACCD family. So Kelly, welcome to LACCD. We look forward to good work with you. So Dr. Corner, Michael, Dr. Juan, congratulations. This is wonderful news when we can celebrate people who have spent some time, their heart, their energy, their vision to the students and to the success of those students at LACC. So thank you, Ryan, thank you, Michael. Thank you, Sahar, so much. Members of the board, that concludes my report today. And we do have some certificates to present. So why don't we go ahead and do that?
Sure, that sounds
okay. So
board members, we are virtually including you.
So that concludes my report. Wonderful note to end on. I'm happy to respond to any questions, comments, or feedback from the board.
President Bellna, I have my hand up. Can I speak?
Oh.
You're looking down, sorry. Thank you, Chancellor, for that report. And I just want to say a few things about those who are leaving us. First of all, congratulations, Dr. Awan. Very excited for this new opportunity. My favorite story is when you and I were on duty to greet presidential candidate, now Vice President Kamala Harris. And she got there with her entourage and literally like blew right past us. And we're like, wait, I think that was her. So fun times with you at Southwest College with hosting events and other stuff. And we, as a board, wish you all the luck in your new position. So congratulations. Michael, I don't know what to say. I was shocked when I heard you were retiring. I really loved working with you all these years. I especially loved it when I was board president. You've done so much for our students and so much to elevate LACCD and our district foundation. And I know that I will personally miss you. I hope you have a great time in retirement. I heard you're leaving the state, and that's really exciting. And welcome, Ms. King. I'm looking forward to meeting you and working with you as well. And then I don't even know what to say about Dr. Corner. You know, what's that saying? When your daughter gets married, you're not losing a daughter, but you're gaining a son-in-law. So I personally feel like I'm not losing a vice chancellor, I'm gaining a president. So it's bittersweet for me as a board member here in LACCD, because your loss is going to be felt, and it's a big one. But I think all of us are so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I'm looking forward to working with you. I'm really glad I was nice to you all these years, because it could have ended badly since now you're going to be my boss. But congratulations, and congratulations to everybody. And I'm just really proud of the work that we do in LACCD, and we grow great leaders. And Francisco, I want to thank you as well, because obviously these three outstanding leaders were under your leadership and guidance and quasi supervision, and thank you.
Trustee Moreno?
Yes, congratulations to them all. But I have a special comment for Ryan. Ryan, I've hired him twice. I hired him as my researcher at East, and I believe I was instrumental in hiring him as a vice chancellor. So I think I have a pretty good batting average for successful presidencies. Congratulations, Ryan. I hope you don't forget where you came from. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Additional comments?
Comment over here.
Yes. Student trustee?
So Ryan, you're kind of like a superhero within the district. I kind of failed to realize this prior. Before you left, so it kind of sucks I'm saying this afterwards, but you were a very inspiring figure as far as how I kind of came up within and how I even got to this position today. And I remember very vividly when we were having the opening of the tap cards for the district. That event was kind of amazing, even though I was just walking around posing next to a train station. Just the culmination of all the work that not only the district put in, but your leadership and your guidance and openness and willingness to just answer questions and setting an example of what can be done with the right leadership, right guidance. It was amazing. So I feel like wherever you go, your presence will be felt. Wherever you leave from, your presence will also be felt. And I can only wish you the best, because you inspire the best. So thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Henderson?
Thank you, President Buolna. I want to say to Mr. Fuller, we did not have an opportunity to get to know one another, but congratulations on your retirement. And I would be remiss if I do not tell Vice Chancellor Ryan Corner how much I have appreciated him over the past year and a half. He's offered information, he has provided data. Anytime that I've reached out to him for information to adapt our agenda for ISS, whatever the case is, he's been very accommodating, and I truly wish you the best of luck and success in your new role. And Trustee Hoffman, I am shaking my fist at you for taking him. So shame on you for that, but congratulations, Dr. Corner.
Trustee Vettis, then Trustee Vela, and I'll close it out.
Yeah, thank you. It's always bittersweet to see individuals leave LACCD, because we get used to working together, and we certainly enjoy our experiences together. For the three individuals that are today, first of all, thank you for your service. you have all made incredibly important marks on the district, and best wishes for your next endeavors. And in Mr. Fuller's case, from speaking from a potentially retirement perspective, I think that only lasts a little while until you get going on the next thing in the life. It always seems to be more busy afterwards, but certainly with all the work we've done in philanthropy here, and we've grown this foundation, it's changed. It's become professional because of your guidance and your work, and it's very much appreciated and noted. And thank you for all the efforts. Even to the state of retirement, I think there was one last gift to manage all the way through here, and so that's tremendous commitment and value to the district. President Awan, I'm gonna since you're now leaving us, I'm gonna say I think for both you and Mr. Corner, I think I've been around politics long enough to now where I get to sit in places and hire people that are younger than me. I never used to have to do that, but both of you are wise beyond your years and have a tremendous future in front of you. And best wishes on this next spot of your career and your development and your impact on education as a whole. And I guess I'll say this for Ryan, because Glendale I consider sort of close to the San Fernando Valley, where I do a lot of activity and work. So I think our paths are going to continue to keep crossing, and whether it's in organizations and institutions, it's really been a joy to watch you. I think you're the one that I've worked with the longest of the group that's here, even though I think you're a couple years away, we're my couple of years away in the middle of the term. But it's been a joy to work with you on the committee and see your see how your approach to helping our students has evolved and grown and really become quite creative in terms of how we're able to take some questions that some of us who are not always in the academic arenas of data collection and those kinds of things, how they can always be refined and improved through your insight and through your feedback. And I always appreciate that. And I know as a leader that's just next door to us, I'm sure that our districts can collaborate in the same way that by having a trustee from Glendale and having a trustee from El Camino just adds value to the urban college experience of trying to provide important service to some of the neediest students in the entire state. So look forward to continuing our relationship, and best wishes moving up the 5 freeway here.
Trustee Vela.
Thank you, President Buelna. Just wanted to, really just thank, President Awan for her work at Southwest College, and congratulations on Mission College, the other Mission College. And then I really want to, thank Michael Fuller, who was instrumental actually when we began the process of really looking at how the foundation could reach out a little more into the LGBTQ+ and African American community. In particular, worked really hard to organize, right at the onset of the pandemic, right? The gift cards, the food, the laptop distribution. I mean, we could go on and on, but that's really just very commendable and work. And I just really want to thank you, Mr. Fuller, for your hard work and just always being able to talk, even though it's late at night sometimes because we had to get things done. So really, again, really appreciate your presence here at LACCD, and I hope your retirement is filled with joy and laughter, and simply because I know that that's what you brought to us as well. And then, I just want to thank, Vice Chancellor Corner. I kind of gave him some of the most interesting assignments, and, putting up with my ideas from, putting together a cannabis program to like putting together, LGBTQ+
Any other board member?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. It's week 8 for me, so everything that everyone else has said, I've seen in some capacity. So just thank you.
I do want to thank all 3 individuals. I have had the pleasure of working with Dr. Corner the longest. Took me a little while to figure out how to pronounce your name, but I did figure it out, Corner, and you told me how to pronounce it. You're my kind of like my calling at 6:30 a.m. Ryan, are you awake? I have an idea to go over for IESS, working on all the different projects. You're young enough not to say this. It is a marathon. In working with you for 5.5 years, you are an honest broker. Trustee Henderson always uses the word intersectionality, and you have brought a lot of intersectionality into ISS data, and you're a very kind individual. That being said, the movement over to Glendale is sorry, Trustee Hoffman, is I view it as likely a path to not that we love Glendale Community College. It is likely a trajectory that of where you might head into the future. But thank you for being here. But do remember, it is a marathon, and you have another 30 years in your career, and you have to maintain that level of energy throughout. So my comments are not as bright, except to say that you're an awesome individual, and you will make that path work for you. And I just want to thank you for putting up with my calls, and thank you for cutting down your slides from 10 to 20 to Vice Chancellor Corner. How many slides do we like? One slide there. He's moved to like 4 or 5, but he used to have 20. So we've evolved in our relationship. So thank you very much. And I'll end it there. If no additional comments, we have no vote on the matter, we move on. So we're on to item number J. Board members, let me read it, then I'll go to anyone who wants to pull an item. Board members, we now we now have for our review the combined consent calendar for items K1 through W9. K1 through W9. Are there any items that board members would like to pull or more information before we vote on the consent item?
Kelsey has my hand up. I have my hand up. I just had a question on V11. I don't know if it's been.
If we can, I'm going to go around board members
to
see about where they're at. Are there any other hands? Hold on for a second. Give me 1 second. Some of you who are virtual, if you can just say the item that you want to pull or additional information, because I can't see you on the screen here. Trustee Henderson, I can see you right next to me, but it's okay. What item, Trustee Henderson?
I just had a question.
Which one?
On W8 and 9.
Okay, W8 and 9. Trustee Vela, any item?
No.
Okay, trustee Vettis? Trustee Vettis? Trustee Moreno?
No,
I'm,
no.
I'm sorry, trustee, I'm going through my board goals. It's freezing. So give me a minute while I call the number, but come back to me.
Sure. Trustee Hoffman?
Um, mm, Business items are separate, correct? X is separate from content?
We're in K1 through
Separate.
W9.
Yeah. No questions.
Okay, got it. So right now we're gonna, so let's start off with trustee Vettis. We'll get back to trustee Vettis. Let's go to the question on V11. Who among staff is gonna answer on V11? First of all, what's the question on V11?
So
Then-
on the subject line, it says 200,007, but when you look at the actual document, it's only for 16,000. I think, unless oh no, maybe it's not. Maybe my computer was playing tricks on me when I was reviewing. Never mind, we're good.
Okay,
I thought there was a cost discrepancy and I just wanted to clarify, but it reads correctly with my eyeballs now. Thanks.
thank you. W8, I think trustee Henders, it was W8 through what? Oh, W8 and 9. What is your question?
Just simply, what college or colleges are these for?
Okay, let's see if I can ask, is it procurement or is this Dr. Smith? So these are master procurement agreements for both sports equipment and for synthetic turf, concrete, asphalt, and ancillary equipment. So Dr. Smith, if you can get on, are there specific colleges that these are designated for? Not sure if the item,
Dr. Smith is in the room now.
okay.
And we should leave any vice chancellors or deputy chancellors here that may need to answer questions, because the next few items, we're gonna likely need them. Dr. Smith?
I think you need to unmute Dr. Smith.
So for items W8 and W9.
Yes,
these
sir.
are both master agreements. Basically, we're extending the master agreement, the term through next year. So it's no additional cost, and any college can use these agreements for either athletic, field turf, concrete, asphalt, ancillary equipment, or sports equipment for both of those items.
Thank you, Dr. Smith.
You're welcome.
Trustee Vettis, you're still outstanding?
Yes, I had a question on item number S19.
S19. What's your question? I'm sorry. Did you say you wanted to pull it or more information?
I'm gonna pull it for now, but mostly for more information.
Okay. Do you want more information now, or do you want a separate vote?
If I can ask for more information.
Okay. So S19. What's yeah? Go ahead.
Okay, this relates to looks like a short-term training classes in the construction sector at West Los Angeles College. Is that right? Correct?
That's correct, Chancellor. I just wanted to raise because I have no issues with the particular organizations, but they've actually been on our construction program, doing a number of things for many, many, many years. And I'm remembering some questions and concerns about just sort of the, and let me go back by sort of my memories that they were initially on to encourage workforce recruitment, but we're challenged because most of the recruitment only came from one part of our service territory, and the desire was to ensure that we were seeking for multiple service territories. Is this similar to the previous contract they were on, or is this something completely new and different?
Okay, this looks to see that President Limbaugh is on the line. Let me see if he can help us answer Trustee Vettis' question. Dr. Limbaugh?
Dr. Limbaugh, please unmute. Thank you.
My apologies. I couldn't find my mute button there for a moment. Trustee Veras, to be honest, I have to go figure that one out. I don't have an answer for you right now.
And maybe somebody from the build side can maybe comment, because I do believe they might have been also funded through build. I don't know if anybody's familiar when the last time we've done work with PV Jobs, and what's the difference between this contract and others that we've done?
It looks like we might have to return
Yeah.
some additional information here, but it
Right.
appears to be short-term training in construction and using this outfit called PV Jobs to assist us to do that. It's not unusual that the colleges have relationships with providers that do short-term training. For
No, I understand that, Chancellor. I think what
Yeah.
I'm saying is that I'm just trying to understand the difference between a very substantial contract we've had in the past, and if this was different, if this was similar, if some of the concerns that were raised in the past had been dealt with, or is this completely different that would raise those kinds of concerns? So, I mean, I think since there's not really answers here, I would ask that we hold the item and see if we can get a little bit more information about what it is. And I'm going to say, I mean, this is, I guess it's a group that's been around for a long time through the district. There's probably several $1 million that have gone to them to do recruitment and training. But I just want to be sure that whatever concerns, and it's a fainter memory, so maybe some of the other trustees have been around long enough to remember these kinds of things, but also not. That's what I was trying to dig around through my old notes. I don't have them. I would, request that because it's 99,000. It's a pretty substantial amount, but there's a long history, and if it can be explained a little better, that would be great.
Certainly, I'll be glad to do so.
All right, so we'll pull S19 for a separate vote then. All right, any other item? I think trustee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I did have an additional item, the M8, the discontinuance of existing educational programs. So it looks as if we are eliminating local degrees and just switching them over to the ADTs. And I just I don't know if we should have a conversation about it, or if you've had a conversation prior to me being on board, but oftentimes, I mean, it prevents students from being eligible for certain degrees. Sometimes students don't necessarily want to transfer right away, and the ADT, like in psychology, the requirements require a transferable math and specific psychology classes, rather than the local degree gives them more options under the psych department. So it could potentially, with the student-centered funding formula, restrict degrees and restrict students from getting degrees. So I just want to caution us.
Are you asking for a separate vote on this item?
If that's possible. Because I think if we can keep both, I'd rather keep them both to give students more options for degrees than eliminate.
Okay, so we will pull item M8 at this point. Yeah.
Trustee Bolden, I'm sorry, I wasn't asking for a separate vote. I was asking to withhold the item until more information was provided. I'm not necessarily opposed to it, but in light of the past committee's work, I just want to be sure that that we have the information available to be able to vote on the item.
If I may, President Buelna, let me respond to Trustee Eno's comment about item M8. We're discontinuing it because the psychology ADT is in demand here. In the last 5 years, we've not awarded a single certificate or degree in an associate. So what we're trying to do is accelerate the relevancy of the programs, hence the request for discontinuance. So just FYI, this is a recommendation that went through our curriculum committee, through academic senate, and then on up. So it followed the chain as outlined. So just FYI, that's why it's there.
Is there any opposition from board members to pulling the item?
I mean, are you asking to pull it for a separate vote? Because I think,
No, let me clarify. Trustee Vettis is asking to pull it for for the next meeting.
Yeah.
So in order if I'm going to do that, then we can't have any opposition to it. So that's why I'm asking if there's opposition. If there's opposition, then we'll vote on it separately.
But to be clear, we're talking about item S19 regarding PV jobs.
Yes.
The one we're talking about pulling.
Yeah, we're only talking about, right. So if a board member is, if there's any board member that's opposed to continue it, then we'll take a vote on it separately. Right. So trustee Hoffman, do you have an opposition to trustee Vettis wanting to pull it or continue it for another month?
No, I was responding to President Limbaugh's comment on the ADT.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
think we're talking about
So-
two different things.
Okay, so is there any opposition to trustee Vettis's request to continue, instead of pulling, continue S19 to the July board meeting? Being no opposition, the item is considered pulled. I mean, continued, sorry, continued for the accuracy of terms.
Thank you.
S19, okay. Any other item either pulled or continued? So, all right, so right now, the only item that we're pulling for a separate vote is item M8. So I'm gonna,
Can I make a comment? Trustee, was President Limbaugh's explanation satisfactory since it went through all of the constituency shared governance committees to get to the board today? Do we necessarily need to pull it for a separate vote?
I guess my question to that is there an issue keeping the local degree? I mean, as a student too, I mean, it's kind of nice that they're eligible for both degrees. I know sometimes it's a pain in the admissions and records or whoever grants the degrees, but it's nice for them to be eligible. And then in the event, I understand you have a recent past history of students not applying for that degree, but if they did, I don't know, I think it's worth keeping it and at least being mindful of that oftentimes for like the ADT for psych, for example, right? You typically need college level statistics, a research methods class, and the psych requirements to fulfill the ADT are much narrower than oftentimes the psych classes that are being offered at the local community college. So versus the local degree, I didn't really look at your local degree, but typically, you have more options in psych courses.
trustee, at this procedurally, I just want to make sure if you want to pull it, if you do want to pull it, then we'll pull it into a separate item and get a first and a second, then for comment at that point. So
Okay.
would you still like it to be
Yes,
pulled?
please.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Limbaugh, would you like to make another quick comment?
Well, thank you for elevating me to trustee, sir. I really appreciate that.
President Limbaugh.
I just want to let you know that here at West for the last 5 years, we've been working on changing AA degrees to associate degree for transfer because they're largely the same degree already. And we're finding that the AA degree has virtually no outcome in terms of jobs or transfers. So I like probably the other 8 schools, are moving to associate degrees for transfers because it prepares them to either go into a transfer institution, or they're taking virtually the same classes they would have gotten with an AA. And we don't see a need to manage both an associate degree for transfer and an AA at the same time when they're virtually the same thing. So that's what we've been doing at West since I got here, moving some of these to associate degrees for transfer to make them more flexible.
Thank you, President Limbaugh. I want to make sure that we have a motion and a second on a bunch of items, and we'll get back to M8 quickly. But that's why it was pulled. President Gibbons, do you have an issue with any item that's before us?
Thank you, Board President Welna. I can add a comment related to the program discontinuance when the time's right to add the comment.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. May I have a motion and a second to adopt the remaining items in the combined consent calendar K1 through W9, excluding M8, and the item S19 was continued to the July board meeting. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved
No.
by trustee Eno, second? Second?
Second.
Second by trustee Vettis?
Yes.
Okay. An additional comments? Roll call?
Student trustee Callahan, advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Buelna,
Yes.
trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Moreno,
Yes.
trustee Vela,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Thank you. Passed. May I have a motion, a motion and a second to adopt the remaining item M8? M8. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Student trustee, motion, second.
I'll second.
I think the student trustee can only second motions, but not make motions.
Okay, got it. So I
Oh,
need a
I thought-
motion.
Okay, I'll motion and.
Okay,
student trustee can second.
I'll handle that. Sorry, I just don't want any confusion, trustee Hoffman. So trustee Hoffman made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay,
Callahan.
second by student trustee. Okay, now we have comments. And President Gibbons, did you want to make a comment?
Yes, thank you. And this is going to be similar to what President Limbaugh mentioned for West. Our faculty have been reviewing a lot of programs, and as they've created associate's degree and transfer programs, they've been looking at the legacy programs to see the extent to which they're helpful to students. With many of our guided pathways efforts, they've been trying to, under the idea of clarifying the path, to make it clear to students what the clear pathways are for different programs. Having a lot of similar programs that are slightly different, but not the associate's degree transfer programs, they've recommended to discontinue in favor of the clear path for the associate's degree transfer programs. That's why the board will fairly regularly see a discontinuance request for programs like the one that's on this agenda item in Spanish. So you'll pretty regularly see these come forward, and they have gone through the participatory governance process initiated by the department, working with Pepsi, and then the academic senate, coming to me and then being presented to the board.
Thank you. Additional comments from trustees?
Well, another point of clarification too, for the ADT, they have to follow the Cal State or IGETC GE pattern rather than our local pattern, which requires a lot more general education classes as well. So the ADTs, I mean, yes, they create great pipelines for the Cal State system, but they do require potentially more coursework.
Okay.
And I mean, if we can keep both, but I understand you went through the process, but I feel like if we can keep both and it wasn't too complicated or obstructive, then that would be my recommendation, or just warning in this process moving forward.
Trustee President Limbaugh.
You know, I can always occupy an 8th seat up there since you keep calling me that. That's cool.
Well, that's how great we see you, or I see you. All right.
I just wanted to say, Trustee, in response, we found in advising here, students get confused about which one they're supposed to be in. And so what we're trying to do is eliminate that confusion and get them into the one that makes sense for the future. So I just wanted to emphasize that piece also. Part of this is to help the student and to get them into a pathway, because we're all building guided pathways that will either get them into college or get them a job. And we figured one pathway in psychology, like many other programs, makes the most sense and creates clarity for our advising process. Thank you.
Thank you. Student trustee?
I do agree with that there needs to be a lot less confusion in terms of how are students getting to these, going down these pipelines towards transfer or towards the workforce. That does need to be very streamlined, and cutting away a lot of the excess does, it creates a clear path for the students to utilize, because it does have a massive strain on the counselors and such. But it's also, I would say, going back to Eno's point on the timeline in which it takes a student to get the degree, how much time is it taking for students to follow these pathways? Is it taking longer? Does it take a shorter amount of time? How does that impact the overall timeline and unit load that students had to take for the new programs that are coming up? And that's really just the main concern that I have, because the most important thing in this case in addition to actually getting degrees and getting the education required of them, it's also being conscious of the student's time and commitment to the institution, because that time is also used on financial aid and other things that help them down this path. So just keeping in mind, I trust your abilities as a college, just hoping that it doesn't end up forcing students to take longer of a path than it needs to get what they need to get in higher education.
Thank you, student trustee. Trustee Hoffman.
Yes, thank you, board president. Thank you, student trustee. I also wanted to say that sometimes the local degree requires extra classes that the ADT doesn't, for instance, like PE. I don't think the ADT requires PE, but I know our local degree requires some form of physical education, which is extra units. Can we hear from maybe Dr. Corner to weigh in on this, since he's probably the one working on most of these? I think he brought this forward. So Dr. Corner, can we get your opinion?
Thank you, trustees. I think that I would mostly echo what President Gribbons was speaking about as it relates to the guided pathways. A lot of the work that the faculty have been conducting is in trying to find ways to streamline exactly how we communicate with students, make clear what the requirements are as students move forward, and having multiple degrees in the same area with different requirements can be a bit confusing. In addition, usually when the Senates are reviewing these and the curriculum committees are reviewing these, they're also asking themselves, what is the purpose of a local degree? Does it bring a student a benefit as it relates to employment? Is it mainly a transfer-focused program? And we do rely primarily on faculty and their expertise. In this particular case, these discontinuances are not for cause that was triggered by administration. They are not for cause that was triggered by a viability study, but they are for cause that was triggered by the discipline experts themselves. And when they come through and up to the district office, we rely primarily on the expertise of those discipline faculty for what the requirements should be for the students. And in this case, I would highly recommend to go along with what the local department has indicated, what the curriculum committee has indicated, what the Senate has indicated, and what was recommended through the district academic senate.
Okay, understood. Any additional comments before we go vote?
I appreciate the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no additional comments, roll call.
Student trustee Callahan advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Boulna.
Yes.
Trustee Henderson.
Yes.
Trustee Hoffman.
Yes.
Trustee Eno.
I'll abstain.
Trustee Moreno.
Yes.
Trustee Vella.
Yes.
Trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Business items X1 through X8. Board members, we will now review the items X1 through X8. Are there any items which require additional information? Please state the item number and we'll either pull it or continue it depending on the situation. I'll start off with my in-person crew here. Trustee Henderson, any item?
X3.
X3 for additional information or to pull or continue?
I would like to continue.
Okay. Student trustee, any item?
Well, I guess additional information on X3.
X what?
X3.
Okay, so X3 is you want additional, but we'll see if it continue. If it continues, then we just continue it for another day. Trustee Vella?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Trustee Hoffman?
I'm good.
Trustee Vettis?
I'm sorry, just a clarification. So X3, was there going to be an update presentation, or was the request to push out? Because I do
So trustee Vettis, the request from trustee Henderson was to continue it. If there's opposition to continue it, then we'll move to the concept of pulling it.
Okay, well, I do have questions on it, so.
No, I get that. So so you're opposed to continuing it. You just want to pull it.
Yeah, I think we should ask
Okay.
questions now.
Thank you. Well, let's get through the rest. Is there any other item in the X item, trustee Vettis?
No.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Moreno?
No.
Okay, thank you. Did I miss anyone?
I have my hand up again.
Oh.
I'm confused with this new language. I would like to get have some conversation and have maybe a presentation around X3. So I don't know what continuing, I don't understand the new sort of.
Continuing a matter means to the next board meeting if there's no opposition, like we did in the previous matter. So we'll just continue it like we did on, I think, S19. If we're pulling the item, then we're going to pull the item and vote separately and have a separate discussion item. So it's continuing versus what we're going to do today.
Okay. Is that okay.
All right.
I did want to point out one of the issues with X3, and that is the sheriff's contract, is that our current contract with the sheriff expires on June 30.
Right, but we're gonna get to that in a second. Okay, so sorry, General Counsel, you know you're my favorite, but is there any other item in the F? Okay, seeing none. Board members, so knowing that we are pulling X3 for the separate discussion and vote, may I have a motion and a second to adopt all remaining items in X1 through X8, understanding that we're about to have a conversation separately on X3. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Trustee Eno, second. Is there a second?
Second, Callahan.
Second by student trustee. Any additional comment? Seeing none, roll call.
Trustee Kellen has advisory vote.
Yes.
Trustee Buelna,
Yes.
Trustee Henderson,
Yes.
Trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
Trustee Eno,
Yes.
Trustee Moreno,
Yes.
Trustee Vella,
Yes.
Trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Okay, so Chancellor,
So related to item X3, this is the sheriff's contract. Back in April, when this item was brought forth, he directed staff to go back and to renegotiate a contract with the LA Sheriff's Department, that we have done so. And this is the result of the item, as you see described there. Separately, a more full document was sent to each of the board members where questions were asked and whatnot for clarification. So I want to point that out as well. So let me ask Dr. Nish to walk through the contract itself. What are the changes? What is the result of a different dollar figure than what we brought to you in April, and have her take it from here, then respond to any questions that you might have about the contract itself. So Dr. Nish, please walk us through what is new in this contract and what are we asking the board to approve?
Thank you, Chancellor. You did receive a detailed one-way memo with that detailed the specific changes, but let me just highlight the broad changes, and then of course I'll take any specific questions that you may have. The most fundamental changes in this contract are to establish an mutually approved minimum staffing level that also includes a relief factor, so that there will be no opportunity to have missing personnel due to a vacation or sickness or some other sort of leave. That way we will guarantee that we always have both security officers on our campuses 24/7. In addition to that, there is a significant change. The largest change is in the accountability measures. If you look at the appendices that were attached in your communication, there are, I believe, over 72 separate items which we will now agree to mutually hold one another accountable and must be fulfilled by the sheriffs in the execution of this contract. We have never before had anything near to this level of accountability with our security provider. So this is really where I think the contract changes. This is where we have established, with the help of this board, a scope of work that demands that we have a different type of service that is more of a community service approach, that is not a militaristic approach, that rectifies some of the issues that have been that have occurred in the past and that have even been brought to this board today. That we have our security provider that integrates with us. It is a partner. It is respected. It is a partner that is approachable. It is a partner that is here to protect us, not to police us. And I think that that is a key difference. The communications will definitely be improved. We will have a centralized security operations center. All of the sheriff's personnel will be wearing body cams. All of the new requirements in the Title V regulations for campus security are met and exceeded by this contract. The sheriffs have also agreed that we will have an unarmed unit working with them. They do not have an unarmed position currently in their classifications. So we have worked with them. The solution that they have proposed is that what the cadet program that we currently have will transfer, and they will be cadets working as with the sheriffs, being paid by the sheriffs. They will be equipped by the sheriffs. They will be uniformed by the sheriffs. They will be trained by them. This is an opportunity, I think, that makes a lot of sense. The cadets in the past have always been confused, who do I report to? And the dual reporting structure often created imbalance, and it created different types of outcomes at the different colleges, where some cadet programs were high quality, others not so much. This gives us an opportunity to standardize the training and to also assure that it follows that community policing philosophy that we are emphasizing in this provider, that we are approachable, that we de-escalate, that we protect. And I believe that for the students that are interested in careers in law enforcement, this is a real benefit. It will allow the students, and by the way, they will recruit from our students. This is a cadet program for our students. You will see that in the appendice that you were given, the cadets would be paid at $24.83 an hour. Currently, they're paid at $15.22. So this would be an opportunity for these students to have a better wage. It is a part-time job, maximum of 30 hours a week. And it would also give them an opportunity to be able to work throughout the district. They wouldn't just be at one specific college, which is what we do now when they're a student worker because they're paid by that specific college. Finally, I would like to speak to the costs. This was not in your one-way memo, and had you not been here in the fall of 2020, you may not remember this. But in fact, there have been significant decreases in the costs that with this security provider. In July 1 of 2020, the annual cost of the contract with the sheriffs was $25.8 million. This is the reason why in the fall of 2020, we were negotiating with them to have a reduction in deployment. Those negotiations, as you will recall, were very difficult. And in December of 2020, we brought to you two proposals. One was from a non-sworn provider. One was from the sheriffs at $19.5 million. The board approved that $19.5 million and directed staff to immediately conduct a thorough, comprehensive assessment of our security needs, which we did, and we brought to the board in July of 2021. We realized that there were things we had to do to prepare for an RFP, and we had not had an RFP before. We had done this through a JPA. We worked very hard to be able to have an RFP that had significant input from the board, that represented this new philosophy of community policing, de-escalation, following the principles that the chancellor has in his framework for racial equity. And we went through the full RFP process. The results of that process were brought to you. The rankings were brought to you. The details were given to you. We were very scrupulous in being sure that we followed the procurement process to the T. The organization that did receive the highest score was the sheriffs. They proposed in their agreement that they could cover our staffing at $29.2 million. We explained to the board that we felt we could negotiate that to a lower cost. You authorized us, in fact, to do that at your April meeting. we were able to decrease the cost by more than $4 million, even including the cadet program. So this is a significant reduction from what was in the original proposal, from 29.2 to 25.4. I will remind you that currently we are paying $22 million for the contract with the sheriffs. So this is more, this is $3 million more, but this will cover the new rates that go into effect July 1. It gives us a better, consistent, guaranteed deployment across the entire district. It gives us more accountability. It provides additional training, and it assures that we will have partners in security and that we're not going to be simply accepting whatever the sheriffs want to give us. So those would be my highlights. That's a lot of information, but I'm more than happy to address questions. We also have retired Chief Ed Medrano, who has been serving as a consultant to the district on the panel, who can assist with any questions as well.
Thank you very much. Questions from the board? Are there hands up?
I guess I'll start off with questions.
All right.
So as far as accountability, I'd say this is probably, I forget which trustee said it, but a full presentation on what exactly accountability means. Because when you say accountability, you're talking about who's going to be held responsible for what, but in broad terms, how is that going to be enacted? How is it going to be followed up upon? Because if it's within the contract, that's only when it's really reported or when people are really upholding the contract. So there are people who may act beyond the contract, and I'm not saying that everybody's going to be acting like that, but it's a very serious consideration. The changes that we make within the documents may not properly affect how these sheriffs act. And a second comment that I have is related to the cadet program. Increasing the pay, definitely, that's something that we should do for a lot of students who are working while being in higher education. But at least from what I experienced, not just at City College and from some of the other colleges that I've been to, the cadets that I've seen there are, I would say, relatively undertrained from my experience, and just a revision or a assessment of the quality of training for the cadets is in place before I feel comfortable increasing their pay, especially if it's being lumped in with the pay of the sheriff's department in general. So I would say I would agree with Trustee Henderson's point in continuing this, but I would like a deeper conversation on what exactly the accountability measures are and how the training for the cadets is going to be better before I can feel comfortable making a decision on this.
Trustees, are there any comments for Deputy Chancellor or questions? Trustee Hoffman.
Thank you, President Bona, and thank you, Deputy Chancellor Nish. I have a couple of comments and then a couple of questions. So I attended the consultation council meeting a little over a week ago, where the new regulations through the Board of Governors were discussed. And then I attended the Board of Governors meeting, and the reason why the Board of Governors have adopted some new standards and regulations is in the aftermath of George Floyd. And they want to really make sure, the Chancellor's office really wants to make sure that students are not being policed and that we do have campus safety officers on our campuses to protect our students and not police our students. And they, have gone so far to say we need to sort of change from a warrior environment to a guardian style environment. While I attended the Board of Governors meeting, Chief Mueller, Don Mueller, and I know you all know him or remember him, he worked right under Captain Armelin with the Sheriff's Department for the Community College Bureau, who he's a fantastic person. And he testified at the Board of Governors meeting, and his whole sort of way that he trains his officers and their thought about policing, for lack of a better word, at Cerritos College is that they really are partners with the institution, with the faculty and staff, and with the students. And he went so far as to say all of his officers feel like they're the big, brothers and sisters of all of the students. And it's really community policing, and it is a true partnership. I feel like we tried to capture that. You tried to capture that in the RFP and in the contract. And Mr. Medrano, you did a phenomenal job sort of shepherding this process. But based on the comments by the student trustee and some others, especially the students that spoke today, and Professor Noor, you were very eloquent in how you sort of gave us your opinion as well. How can we ensure that the spirit of what we want is going to be met? So that's one of my questions. I also echo the thoughts about the student workers. The budget for 12 student workers working 30 hours a week, and 30 hours is a lot of hours when you're trying to get a degree and get educated and get out, is almost $500,000. So I do feel like that's a little bit excessive. Of course, we want our students to make a great hourly wage, but again, they need the training and I think the experience, and maybe less hours than 30, because I don't know how you finish an academic program. And then something else that, because I read through all of it, is there a reason why we need to ticket our students that are parked in our parking lots? Oftentimes those tickets lead to finding out that our students have old warrants. I had an experience where a student was ticketed, went straight to jail and spent 8 months in prison. So I feel like some things could be tweaked. And then in terms of what is the role of our law enforcement officers? And the role is to protect our students and to be in a partnership, not to ticket cars. Most people are not parking, in our parking lots for fun. They're there to go to school. If they park there to walk across the street for something, well, oh well. I mean, I really think we need to take a look at that as well. And then how can we ensure that the cost, because 25 million is a lot of money, doesn't go up every single year? Because I don't know, when I started in 2015, the sheriff's contract was 18 million. They proposed not to exceed 29 million. That seems excessive. I did a little research. The cost for a single college district with 3 campuses, so Glendale College, we have 3 sites, is about $2.5 million a year. And we have our own police force at Glendale College. So 24 million does not sound like out of the realm, especially if we're getting all the equipment. And I wanted to also ask you, Dr. Nish, in that 24 million, is the equipment included? The body cameras, the vehicles, any other equipment that they might need? And then there's a piece of the Board of Governors regulations that I'm not sure how we enforce. And that's the whole piece about progressive discipline if they don't do something correctly, because they're not our employees. And so what kinds of protections are we going to put in place when we want to get rid of a particular officer or a particular employee of the Sheriff's Department? And then how do we ensure that they're participating in participatory governance and campus activities that maybe are outside of the realm of law enforcement and campus security, but it might be an open house, it might be graduation, it might be a transfer fair. How do we capture the spirit of what we want in the documentation? And those are some of my concerns. I know that was long-winded and I apologize, but I really think we need to be very intentional and thoughtful.
Trustee
Thank you
Hoffman,
for your
to be
work.
fair to you, you also had said you had a question in there. So was there a question also?
I did. I asked the question about how we.
Oh, it was in there. Okay.
Yeah, it was in there.
All right. Deputy Chancellor?
I heard a lot of questions. Sorry, I don't have a pen at the podium, so I'm going to forget some. So you might
It's
have to
okay. I
remind me.
wrote some things down.
But okay, please note that the estimates for cadets would be the maximum. The maximum. We would probably never work a cadet 30 hours a week, 52 hours a week. That's virtually impossible. So, and we would not intend to do so. But the reason that was used is it was an estimate so that we would have a reasonable understanding what the maximum would be, understanding it would be less, but that there wouldn't be surprises. And of course, these hours are billed separately, and will be billed for the actual hours. I would also like to state that the transfer of the cadet program doesn't happen on July 1. There'll be a 6-month period. The issues that you have raised, the training, etc., we realize that training is not the best at all the colleges for cadets because it's done locally. So this gives us an opportunity over those 6 months to assure exactly what you're asking, that the training is uniform, that it emphasizes the principles of community policing, and indeed what you're saying, the guardian rather than warrior approach, which is what we emphasize in the scope of work for the RFP. With respect to the costs for the sheriffs are dictated through a cost recovery system. It does change every year. It usually goes up. It doesn't usually go down. But what we have done is we have asked in the contract, they must provide us those new costs no later than April, and we will bring those costs to the board. So this will be very transparent, and we will be able to show you exactly if there is a cost increase, how much that cost increase is, and why that cost increase is coming forward. If we feel that that cost increase is something that we cannot live with, we will then immediately go into negotiations on the deployment side. And so there is that option. And ultimately, there's the option that we can terminate the contract. There are several different ways to do that. And you were provided the document that outlines that. With respect to disciplining, we have removed individuals from the Community College Bureau when they haven't been working in the way we want them to work by going directly to the captain and talking about the performance issues. And the captain and his team have disciplined officers when they have committed errors in whatever they've done or they haven't been providing the approach that we expect. So whereas they are not our employees and I cannot personally discipline them, I definitely in a partnership have the ability to go to them and say, these are the expectations of the contract. We are not experiencing that with this person, and then assure that that person is disciplined and performs or is removed from the Bureau. And I can tell you that I trust that will be done because I've already seen that being done with Captain Gannon. How do you hold people accountable? Well, we have a very, very detailed set of measures that must be met and many different reports, including a community engagement plan that must be developed by the Sheriff's Department. So we have a period of time with them coming into this new contract to make sure that all of these things are set up and that they are doing them, reporting them, and we are assessing. We need to be partners with them and not simply let them go off and do their work. We need to be partners and oversee that work and be constantly in communication with one another. This is why we have a Safety and Security Oversight Committee, which I chair. This is why we're hiring a full-time district-wide director of safety and security who will spend the bulk of their week in the field overseeing this contract and this provider. And this is also why we are hiring the emergency preparedness manager who has retired to assure that we also have that component, not just with our security provider, but on our side as well. With respect to the issues that have been raised about all these different accountability measures, it's going to be on us and those resources that I just enumerated, that every single week we are working with this partner, holding them accountable. And we have to be in the field with them and watching and listening and talking to our students and our employees to make sure that this new approach is really materializing. If it doesn't, then we have to take a step back and we're going to have to self-correct. But it will be partners working on this, very much, Trustee Hoffman, in the manner that was articulated by the Cerritos police chief.
I just have one more.
Did I miss? Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Trustee Hoffman, can we go
Yeah.
to some of the other trustees, then circle back to you, please?
I just have one comment, but fine.
Okay. Let's see, Trustee Vettis.
Thank you, trustee. I just about 10 minutes ago, I received a phone call from my wife, my spouse, was on her way to Valley College to take kids to community service class. And if the trustees don't know, I did send a note over to President Gribbins that our next door neighbor, Grant High School, is under lockdown right now because of a shooting. I'm a little distressed, considering that both my children are literally on their way to the campus to participate in community service activities. It sort of harkens back to Uvalde just a week or so ago. There's still some really sort of challenging, and I'm not trying to say, the fact that it comes up in the middle of this contract has my mind and lots of thoughts swirling all over the place. Anytime you see any type of acts of violence on education spaces, and of course, I think we're all going to start seeing it right in the middle of our board meeting, right in the middle of this conversation. The fact that literally we're dealing with another act of violence, and I'm not sure. I'm going to say this: I'm not sure if the campus community is secure or safe or what. But this is the conversation we're having right now. So. We go from, obviously talking about theoretically where we want to be to something in front of us with a heavy heart that I'm trying to organize my thoughts to discuss this. I will say that over the last year, we've spoken lots about trying to understand the responsibility of the district to create safe environments, and making sure that we've surveyed, we've taken diligence in the way we put together a request for proposals to hear and to listen and to understand that sometimes people have come and given us comments, and other individuals give us different sets of comments. And so I think we're trying to take and factor all these pieces together, and ultimately assure the community, our students, the employees, staff, faculty, that they can come to work without fear. And those are challenging situations. I think we've made a bunch of adaptations into this RFP. Some of those adaptations equaled higher budget amounts. I'm glad the conversation's happening at the statewide level to dig deeper into what the expectations for safe campuses are. I understand there's some of our students and some of our community members who feel they need to be safe from law enforcement officials, and others that believe that law enforcement officials cannot create the safety in space. And of course, there's a group that believes that the law enforcement and even sworn officers are critical to ensuring the safety in space. I'm viewing this as an opportunity for various proposals to have come to the table for us to assess, to consider, to have scoring prioritization or scoring assessments given to the different aspects of values that we've put on. And at the end of a process that's recommended to us, we should be in a position to make a decision. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm watching my phone blowing up by all the kids that are in classes with my children, saying, "What's going on? I just got cancellation of this, that, and the other thing." Look, at some point of this board, I hope we can move from theoretical to actual, real, and practical, and understand that while we need to have serious conversations about service providers, we ultimately have a responsibility to ensure safety and to provide the public and the users of our institutions the sense that we care about the safety, that we want to ensure that they can step onto those campuses and not have these kinds of fears that all of us are reminded of so frequently, when you see the sense of random violence that's out there. The one question I will ask is, we are set to end the contract. If we do not take action today, and this contract ends June without another board, are we essentially having to do an emergency board meeting to look at something else, another interim scenario? Because certainly if we reject this recommendation, there isn't second place to go to. There's a new RFP process that would have to take place, I would assume. But are we in a position to, since this has been sort of carried over from the prior month, are we in a position to be able to handle campus safety in
Trustee Vettis?
Yeah, sorry. Like I said, I'm getting distracted by my phone here, but at least the last part, you know where I'm going with the question, Deputy Chancellor, if you can answer that.
I'll answer part of it, because part of it is with regard to setting up the agenda, and part of it is the other with Deputy Chancellor. So we did talk about the scenario in putting on this agenda. So if for whatever reason it was either voted down or continued, then there would be a special meeting to vote to extend a contract or something else, right? It would depend on the action that's taken on the board, but we would schedule that, but it's not scheduled for today. And we could schedule that within 24 hours notice. So Deputy Chancellor, you can answer the other part.
Thank you, President Buelna. If the board does not approve this contract, we will need to immediately work with the sheriffs to see if we can come to some sort of extension of the current contract. That would be probably the only fallback position that we would have to assure that our campuses have safety and security services on July 1. We would not be able to bring in a new provider on July 1. To bring in a new provider for a district of our size, we need a number of months. 3 is the absolute minimum. So that's what we would have to do, is we would have to immediately work with the sheriffs to have an extension of the old contract, which staff believes is not the best contract, that in fact the contract before you is much better for the district.
Okay. All right, thank you. Trustee Henderson?
Thank you for addressing the concerns, Deputy Chancellor Nish, but I still have concerns, and my own concerns, but also based on public comment. Obviously, either, our stakeholders haven't been made aware of, I guess, the vital changes in this document, or even with those changes, they still don't feel comfortable. And considering the questions that the trustees have, I would like to make a motion that we continue this and discuss extending the current contract.
So that's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, second by Trustee Eno. Comments?
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, look, I think it's really important that we understand there's a lot of things here at play. So, having been part of working on the RFP to insert, elements to it that would help us and our community to look at unconscious bias, to seriously add a community policing situation to the RFP, and a lot more, I think, that was said to try to deal with those issues, and so that the sheriff understand the client, basically, and so the client is definitely not the same as it was before. And I think we're looking at both demography changes. We're looking at our students with unique needs. And, you know, having the experience working in the county for 10 years and managing city contracts through the Board of Supervisors, I know exactly what the sheriff can and cannot do. And, you know, we've said it many times before, it's really, it is truly up to the client to demand whatever we need and what we want. And so, you know, having the ability to do so, I think puts a big strain on us, right? And so, you know, we've looked at that, and that's part of why you see the recommendations for, you know, the safety management positions. I think part of what we could do here, you know, and, you know, whether we like it or not, you know, we are at the heels of, you know, you just saw, you know, things that have happened throughout the country with Uvalde and Buffalo, you know, and we certainly understand we have to be on high alert. And so we definitely do need to think about the safety mechanism of what safety components that an armed force brings versus an unarmed. Those two discussions, you know, at one point or the other are the toughest discussions that we need to have. And we really haven't had them, right? As a community. I think at the board level, maybe, and perhaps some of us do have experience in, you know, in how you handle that. There's various different models. The models that we were trying to get would have been to have, you know, more of a centralized component that would oversee, you know, even perhaps, you know, unarmed security at our campuses. But then have, you know, a central command situation. And, you know, how the sheriff work, I don't think that's really how they do it in their game. You know, obviously they even have their own security officers. So I think we need to talk more. The other thing that I see is that, you know, we need to kind of pair it, you know, with, you know, how many students do we have on campus? And I'd like to see, you know, a risk assessment, a crime study, you know, because if you're telling me that 25 million, like that's a break, because so what, are you telling me that when we have the full, you know, after the pandemic and so on and so forth, we have everyone back, what is it going to be, 50 million? I mean, it just doesn't make sense here. You know, we got to do a sliding scale here, right? So if we're back, you know, and so my question is going to be to all of you guys at staff, you know, are we back at 40 or 50% or 70 or 80 full-time students and full-time people? Because I do not want to come back and you guys tell me that you need, you know, well, now there's double the people, so we need 50 million. That to me is where I think we really need to understand that piece of it, because to me, that's a lot of money based upon the amount of people we have back full-time at our campuses. Okay, now that doesn't mean that you know, a law enforcement agency can't serve us. I'm not saying that, but I am saying, you know, to what capacity, and you know, how much really can we work together, right? To because the last time the sheriff went down all the way to 16 million, and there was no one on campus, but then now I'm hearing that there were people on campus. So for me, you know, I really need to know how many people are on our campuses. Are they safe or not? And you know, it's just really hard for me to imagine, you know, again, having the experience, and you know, I respect the sheriff. I've worked with them, so you know, for me, it's not an issue here. You know, it's 25 million. Are you also securing a city, you know, of 100,000 residents with, you know, all sorts of the bells and whistles for that amount of money? But are we coasting? You know, are we subsidizing the other, you know, folks that need to benefit from the contracts division at the sheriff? That's my question, you know, and I think for me, I think we need to just have a better understanding of our crime risk versus other contracts that the sheriff has. I really need to see that. And, you know, so, you know, that's my thing right now. So the question is, by the way, President Buena, How are we back? Are we back at 30% or 50 or 80? I really need to know that number right now before I vote.
President Buelna, I would like to respond, and I think that I may like to ask Mr. Medrano to assist. We are projected to be back at 50% of all sections on site in the fall. Those are for students. Of course, our staff are back. We are not conducting a telecommuting pilot. We have very few staff that are for accommodation purposes working remotely other than faculty that are teaching online. So Trustee Vela, you should not be worried at all that there would be a doubling. Certainly that would not happen. We did share all of our staffing and other statistics with the sheriffs to develop the minimum deployment schedule, including we have been conducting information gathering with new logs with the sheriffs over the past, I think we started this in September, so that we could ascertain exactly what they're doing, and we know exactly what the crime is on our campuses. And we have those reports coming in on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and those were also used to assess what the deployment schedule would look like. Mr. Medrano can speak in greater detail, but I can assure you that as we start to bring perhaps even more than 50% of our classes on site, that is not going to result in a doubling of the need for security officers, not at all. We will continually assess and keep you informed, but I would never anticipate that there would be a doubling. Even when we were pre-pandemic in 2019, we didn't have a doubling of the deployment that we are proposing now. So I do not see that happening. If you'd like to know more details about how the deployment.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Thank you so much.
Trustee Moreno and Trustee Eno.
Yes, thank you. Having known all the leadership of the police departments from 1969 onward, for 53 years, I've been aware of all the operations of our police services, from the very beginning of our own police department to the morphing into the sheriff's department. The issue, let me begin by saying that there's always a balance you have to strike. It's critical that we provide a safe working environment for everyone. I might add, one of the major reasons for our decline at East was the fact that there was a feeling of insecurity, that there was perhaps an insecure campus. I think the image of our institution being full of crime is one that'll drive students away. That once they feel safe, they'll come in greater numbers. That's a real critical issue with regard to recruitment. But the balance we have to strike is the reality that I heard something earlier, which was very, very insightful. And that is, we want to make certain that what used to be handled as a disciplinary matter doesn't become an arrest, which is exactly what we don't want to have, because we want to make sure these people who are engaged in mild infractions aren't ended up with a police record. That's an important issue. Keeping in mind with that, we have always tried to hire people initially with not the real strict view of a policing environment where they're trying to quote the word bust heads type approach to arrests. But this was a time where we needed to deal with serious problems in the community. That was in 69, 70. Had to do with the anti-war movement, I might add. But our program started as a single police department. And then when that department got really in serious trouble for certain kinds of behaviors exhibited by certain members of the department, it became abundantly clear that we need to shift into another system. And the system we shifted into was the sheriff's department, driven in large part by the labor union that was responsible for those police officers who wanted to be part of the sheriff's department. Many of our officers were adopted into the sheriff's department to become members of their department. So we have the sheriff's department. Now, we did lose We did lose that Andra made a comment with our participation in the campus. We had our police department. We had, individuals there on a regular basis, and they were part of our Christmas parties and all the other events we have on campus. They become part of the family. We did lose a little bit of that, but we wanted to make sure that when we hired the sheriff's department, that they were going to approach this as we had in the past. That is, we want to have officers that are concerned about our students who work with not with more of a lighter hand, I would say, more of a cooperative nature. And I think it's critical that we have those kinds of individuals. My experience has been that they have provided such individuals. If I had any trouble at all, it is so easy. I have to tell you, it's so bizarre as we complain about disciplining employees. My gosh, we've had to tolerate our own employees for many years that they would, at the sheriff's office, would not tolerate. The benefit of engaging a sheriff's department, if we have a problem with any particular employee, they can shift them to another area and we have a new officer or whatever rank you would want to have. So it is a balance we strike. It's an important balance. And I think what I've heard is that is what the department has attempted to address. It is an expense that I find abhorrent. I hate to spend that kind of money. However, when you look at all the money we're spending in our budget, and those of you who haven't looked at our budget need to look at it some more, just look at the agenda tonight, how many millions of dollars we're spending on, I think, frivolous stuff. But the reality is the expenses are rising everywhere. And the current situation where we have shots being fired or some issue where we're closing down a school nearby, one of our own it could be one of our own schools. I like to make certain that we're prepared with that for any eventuality. So it is a balance, and it's a critical balance. So we can't walk away from this issue. And let me back up a little bit. It seems bizarre that, we are, I think, was it 50% returning, although I would think that 100% should return. But we are going towards that. That is our final goal, really. So the reality is we mustn't forget, all of us mustn't forget, that our schools are open campuses. There was one at West LA College for a long time, was the closest. We shut the gate, nobody get in. But all of our campuses are virtually open to the surrounding area. So there has to be some protection all 24 hours a day. These are large facilities with all kinds of activities that could occur on that campus. So it isn't easy as you would assume, but I want to make a point. It appears from what I've heard so far, there has been a significant effort to have this balance struck, which is one that I'm concerned about. Certainly, I don't want to have any of our students end up with a police record because they have a problem with our officer. That's not our goal, and that's not what we want to have. What we want to have is a safe college environment, at the same time recognizing that we're dealing with young people with all the challenges they have. So I would urge that we take action in approving this. A delay, I'm concerned, is that as we go on, we might create another problem for us if we're going up against July 1st as a deadline. So, I know that's not a question, but that's a comment I had to make in light of what I heard so far.
I'll just make this comment. We have two procedures in front of us, either one or two. There's a motion and a second to continue the matter. What that exactly means, whether that 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, I don't know. That's what's in front of us right now. If that passes, then we have to have a discussion about an emergency board meeting with regard to continuing the sheriff's contract into the next step. If it passes, then it passes. So I just want to make sure procedurally we're clear, because sometimes as the comments go on, we move forward. Did I get that right?
I wasn't trying. My comments were to address actually both these issues by kind of supporting one action versus the other.
So just to be clear, Chancellor, correct or clarified, if this does not pass, then we go back to the original item to pass that item. Okay. So as we're moving forward and we're making comments, it's just want to make sure everyone knows where we're at procedurally in this process, so we can move this conversation, and the comments are targeted towards the specific resolution that's in front of us right now. Trustee Eno?
I'm okay with the motion if you want to take a vote on it. And then I
Okay.
guess my comments would be relevant to how we vote.
Got it. Is there any other comment? So right now we're on a resolution. If we continue the matter, that if 4 trustees vote to continue, then there's a discussion about another meeting or something. If it does not pass, then we go back to the resolution and vote on that of the original item, the original item. Okay. So is there any additional comment on this resolution? Or motion? Motion. You read my mind. Okay. So if you vote yes, you continue the matter or delay the matter. And if you vote no, we go back to this item matter. Okay. So any additional comments? Okay. Seeing none. So a yes vote is to continue it, and a no vote is to go back to original matter. All right, just to be clear on what it.
And the motion was made by trustee Henderson and second by
By
Eno. Okay, perfect. Okay. Trustee Boulna,
Yes.
trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman,
I'm going to abstain.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Moreno,
No.
trustee Vela,
Yes.
trustee Vettis,
No.
Okay, so the item is continued.
I must state for the record that there is no guarantee that the sheriffs will extend a contract. So we will proceed to convene with them on an emergency basis and see what they may be willing to do. At this point in time, we will end the contract on June 30th.
Okay. On to items, facility items Y1 through Y20. Board members, we now review the items Y1 through Y20. Are there any items which require additional information? Please state the item number on the agenda where we may find it. I'll go to the virtual board. Trustee Moreno, any item?
No, I don't have any item.
Okay. Trustee Vela,
Nope.
trustee Hoffman,
No.
trustee Vettis,
No.
trustee Henderson.
No.
Okay. May I have a motion and a second to adopt all items, remaining facility items Y1 through Y20? Motion,
So moved.
trustee
Second.
Eno, second. There a second?
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry, who said a second? Oh, Henderson, second. So we have a motion. Y17 has been pulled for the record. Okay. So, any additional comments? Seeing none, roll call?
trustee Boulna,
Yes.
trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Moreno,
Yes.
trustee Vela,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Okay. Next item, human resources. I'll go ahead and read it verbatim, right? Okay. Before we proceed to vote on the next 4 action items in regard to the employment actions for college presidents and district executives, I'll read the following language for the record. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54943, which is part of the Brown Act, we are required to make an oral summary of proposed action on the salaries, salary schedules, and compensation paid in the form of fringe benefits for all executive positions as defined in subdivision D of the government code during the open meeting to which final action is to be taken. In our case, we need to provide such summary for positions such as chancellor, the vice chancellor, and the college presidents. The agenda item now before you includes an employment action for extension of contracts for college presidents, Mary Gallagher, Barry Gibbons, James Limbaugh, and Albert Roman. Is it Albert or Alberto? Alberto Roman, through June 30th, 2024. A $500 per month car allowance will be applied to the base salary, and they will be entitled to the same health and welfare benefits as are received by other unrepresented classified administrators, including retiree health benefits. After reading the summary, please, may I have a motion and a second on item Z1?
So moved.
Trustee Eno, is there a second?
Second.
Trustee Henderson? Any comment? Okay, a roll call?
Trustee Boulna,
Yes.
trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Moreno,
Yes.
trustee Vella,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Employment action for interim vice chancellor. Next is the employment action for interim vice chancellor, Dr. Nicole Albo Lopez, from June 13, 2022 to June 30, 2023, with a salary placement at step 3 of the current salary schedule of $20,157.17 per month. A $500 per month car allowance will be applied to the base salary, and she will be entitled to the same health and welfare benefits as are received by other unrepresented classified administrators, including retiree health benefits. May I have a motion and a second on item Z2?
Move to approve.
Trustee Hoffman moves. Second?
Second.
Second by trustee Henderson. Any comment? Being none?
I'm sorry.
Trustee Vett.
I apologize. Is this to replace Dr. Corner?
He will never be replaced. But she may step in to his
Okay.
chancellor for at least 1 year.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Roll call?
Trustee Boulna,
Yes.
trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Moreno,
Yes.
trustee Vella,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Next is the employment action for extension of contract for Ms. Araceli Aguiar, which I messed up her name for the last few years. I thought it was Aguilar. Interim college president of Los Angeles Pierce College from July 1, 2022 to August 30th, 2022. Ms. Aguilar salary will be step to $18,184.37 per month of the vice chancellor and college president salary schedule. A $500 per car allowance.
I'll move.
But under the code, I have to read it, so I apologize. You have to hear me read. A $500 per month car allowance will be applied to the base salary, and she will be entitled to the same health welfare benefits as are received by other underrepresented classified administrators, including retiree health benefits. May I have a motion, a second?
Point of
Item
clarification, President Buona.
Yeah.
We don't have a copy of your script. So according to me, you were done at, she will receive the 500 per month car allowance. So I apologize.
Okay, no worries, trust me, trustee Vella. May I have a motion and a second on item Z3?
So moved.
Trustee Vella, is there a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Hoffman, second. Any comment? Seeing none, roll call?
Trustee Boulna,
Yes.
trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Moreno,
Yes.
trustee Vella,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Next is the employment, as I'm reading my script. The next is the employment action for the extension of contract for Dr. Armida Ornelas, interim college president at Los Angeles Mission College from July 1, 2022 to August 30, 2022. Miss Dr. Ornelas's salary will be step 2, $18,184.37 per month of the vice chancellor and college president's salary schedule. A $500 a month car allowance will be applied to the base salary, and she will be entitled to the same health and benefits, welfare benefits as are received by other unrepresented classified administrators, including retiree health benefits. May I have a motion and a second on item Z4?
I move to approve Dr. Ornelas' extension. It's
Second.
Thank you with all those additional words there. Motion by trustee Hoffman, seconded by trustee.
Eno's fine.
Oh, Eno. Any comment? Seeing none, roll call?
Trustee Boulna,
Yes.
trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Moreno,
Yes.
trustee Vella,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Item AA, recommendations from the Chancellor. Los Angeles Regional Adult Education Consortium representative for LACCD. May I have a motion and a second on item AA1?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Hoffman, seconded by
Second.
trustee Henderson. Any additional comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Trustee Boulna,
Yes.
trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Moreno,
Yes.
trustee Vella,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Yes.
Approve BP 7211. May I have a motion and a second on item AA2? Motion by trustee
So moved.
Henderson, seconded by trustee
Eno.
Eno. Is there any comment? Seeing none, roll call.
Trustee Boulna,
Yes.
trustee Henderson,
Yes.
trustee Hoffman,
Yes.
trustee Eno,
Yes.
trustee Moreno,
Yes.
trustee Vella,
Yes.
trustee Vettis.
Yes.
There is one informative and one notice. Chancellor.
This is the third quarter financial report. There's no action that is necessary. And then the notice for board approval for chapter 7, we'll put it on the board agenda for next month.
Lupe, are there any persons signed up?
No, sir.
Oh, announcements and indications of future proposed actions by members of the Board of Trustees. Trustee Moreno? I thought I heard your voice.
No.
Okay. So
comment.
are there any actions or indications? Okay, seeing none, we're moving on to DD, public comment. Are there any persons signed up to address the board on closed session agenda items, Guadalupe?
No, sir.
Okay, seeing none, the board will, again, we want to thank everyone who addressed the board. The board recessed to closed session in accordance with the Ralph M. Brown Act, Government Code Section 54950 et secular, the Education Code, to discuss the matters posed under closed session agenda pursuant to Government Code 54954.5. May I have a motion to recess to closed session?
So moved.
Trustee Henderson, second.
Second.
Trustee Eno, any objection? Okay, seeing none, we are recessed.
We have a 5-minute break. 5-minute. break.
Should we
Recording
do 5
stopped.
or 10 minutes? Let's do 10 minutes to your link. Okay, thank you very much.